I'm getting ready to watch a video.
Really? What?
Oh, just some scary movie.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I don't know.
Do you like scary movies?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the 13th Horror Society Scream Table Read. It's me, Xanthe. But yeah, thank you so much for everyone for coming. This is the table read hosted by University of Birmingham, 13th Horror Society. I'm the president. And shout out to Lucy for creating our lovely slide as the music was playing and while we're waiting. For those new to our community, the 13th Horror Society is a haven for horror enthusiasts. We provide an entertaining yet educational space for students to discuss all things horror, support each other with horror-related movies, podcasts, blogs, and much more. If you'd like to keep in touch with us, doesn't matter if you're not from UOB, so go ahead and follow us at uob.horror on Instagram. And we want to take a moment to thank our fantastic cast for volunteering their time to participate in this table read. Their talent and dedication are what make events like this possible. I have personally seen all these wonderful actors perform at UOB or online and reached out as I was really impressed with their talent. So everyone should take note of who they are before they become big stars and forget about us like peasants. So without further ado, let's meet our cast, starting with Sidney, played by Samantha Jasi.
Hi.
Billy Ghostface, played by Sam Bailey.
Do you like scary movies?
And Stu and supporting roles played by Luke Pierce Powell.
Hello, how are you doing?
Dewey, played by Jonathan Coulton.
Hello.
Casey, Tatum, and Kenny, played by Ava Allchurch.
Hiya!
Supporting roles played by Lizzie Lamle.
Hi.
Stage directions read by Nikki Madan.
Good evening.
And joining us from Los Angeles is special guest Randy Gale, played by Earl Baylon.
Whoa.
All right. We encourage everyone in the chat to comment if you enjoy anything, to give reactions and make the event more engaging. But before we kick off, we do have a very, very special video to play.
Hello, 13th Horror Society. It's me,
Dewey! That's right. It's me, David Arquette, Dewey, and I'm here to celebrate the 13th Horror Society's Zoom read-through. Oh my gosh, you guys are in for quite a time. This is a message from the president of the club and me, just wishing you all the best. I hope you enjoy your table read. Congratulations on where you are in your life. You're at the beginning of an incredible career because you're acting students studying at the University of Birmingham in the UK. So I hope you're pumped up for this read-through. I'm pumped up. I want to wish you all the best. Doing the Scream movies was a true dream come true, to work with Wes Craven and to read the lines of Kevin Williamson, such an incredible writer. So I really hope you guys have a great time reading it. Bring your own character to it. Bring your own personality to it. For me as an actor, it's all about finding what connects with me in this character that I'm playing, what connects in my real life, and then how can I make it real? Even if some of the stuff you have to do is kind of over the top. How can you ground it? I always think about that. I always think about the bigger picture. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Thank you all for asking me to celebrate you and your incredible accomplishments. This is the beginning of an amazing career. So 13th Horror Society, enjoy your Zoom Scream read through.
Thank you so much to David for that. So nice. We won't knock him for pronouncing it Birmingham, but yeah, without further ado, let's begin this Scream table read. Nikki, take it away.
Scream by Kevin Williamson. Fade in on a ringing telephone. Hand reaches for it, bringing the receiver up to the face of Casey Becker, a young girl no more than 16. A friendly face with innocent eyes.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes?
Who is this?
Well, who are you trying to reach?
Well, what number is this?
What number are you trying to reach?
Oh, I don't know.
I think you've got the wrong number.
Oh, do I?
Well, it happens. Take it easy.
Quick. She hangs up the phone. The camera pulls back to reveal Casey in a living room, alone. She moves from the living room to the kitchen. It's a nice house, affluent. The phone rings again. Interior kitchen. Casey grabs the portable.
Hello?
I'm sorry. I guess I dialed the wrong number.
So why did you dial it again?
Well, to apologize.
Well, you're forgiven. Bye now.
Wait, hey, don't hang up.
Casey stands in front of a sliding glass door. It's pitch black outside.
What?
I want to talk to you for a second.
They've got 900 numbers for that. See ya.
Click. Casey hangs up, a grin on her face. Exterior of Casey's house, night, establishing shot. A big country home with a huge sprawling lawn full of big oak trees. It sits alone, with no neighbours in sight. The phone rings again. Interior kitchen. Popcorn sizzles in a pot on the stove. Casey covers it with a lid, reaching for the portable phone.
Hello?
Why don't you want to talk to me?
Who is this?
You tell me your name and I'll tell you mine.
I don't think so.
Oh, come on, what's that noise?
Casey smiles, playing along innocently.
Popcorn?
Oh, you're making popcorn.
Mm-hmm.
I only eat popcorn at the movies.
Well, I'm getting ready to watch a video.
Oh, really? What?
Oh, just some scary movie.
Oh, do you like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
Oh, what's your favorite scary movie?
He's flirting with her. Casey moves away from the stove and takes a seat at the kitchen counter, directly in front of the glass door.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, you have to have a favorite.
Casey thinks for a second.
Halloween. You know, the one with the guy with the white mask who just sort of walks around and stalks the babysitters? What's yours?
Guess.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, is that the one where the guy had knives for fingers, or?
Yeah, Freddy Krueger.
Freddy, that's it. I liked that movie. It was scary.
Yeah, the first one was, but the rest sucked.
So, you got a boyfriend?
Why? You want to ask me out?
Well, maybe. Do you have a boyfriend?
No.
You never told me your name.
Casey smiles, swirling her hair.
Why do you want to know my name?
Because I want to know who I'm looking at.
Casey spins around like lightning, facing the glass door.
What did you say?
I want to know who I'm talking to.
No, that's not what you said.
What do you think I said?
Casey clicks on the outside light. A floodlight illuminates the backyard. Her eyes survey the grounds. But it's empty. No one's there. She turns the light out. On the stove, the popcorn.
I have to go now.
Wait, I thought we were gonna go out.
No, I don't think so.
Don't hang up on me.
Gotta go.
Don't.
Click! Casey hangs up. She checks the glass door, making sure it's locked, and moves to the stove as the phone rings. She slides the popcorn from the stove, reaching for the phone.
Yes?
I told you not to hang up on me.
Oh, what do you want?
To talk.
Dial someone else, okay?
You getting scared?
No, I'm bored.
Click. She hangs up. The phone rings again. She grabs it.
Listen, asshole.
No, you listen to me, you little bitch. If you hang up on me again, I'll gut you like a fish. Understand?
Total silence. He has gotten her full attention.
Is this some kind of joke?
More of a game, really.
Casey eyes the glass doors, then looks up the hallway to the front doors, moving to it. It's unlocked. She bolts it.
I'm about 2 seconds away from calling the police.
They'd never make it in time.
Casey moves her face flush against the door, her eye looking through the peephole. Angle through peephole. A distorted view of the front porch. It's empty. She relaxes a bit, relieved.
What do you want?
See what your insides look like.
Casey's jaw drops as total fear storms her face. She hangs up the phone, throwing it down on a side table when... Ding dong! The doorbell chimes. Casey leaps out of her skin. She turns to the door as it chimes again.
Who's there?
Ding dong! Another chime. She moves to it.
Who is there?
No answer. Fuck this, it's time for the police. She goes for the portable phone. Just as she picks it up, it rings. Casey almost drops it, losing her breath. She brings it to her ear with trembling hands, saying nothing, listening, waiting. A long silence. And then...
You should never say, who's there? Don't you watch scary movies? It's a death wish.
Casey clutches the wall, nearly collapsing. She tries her darndest to hang tough.
Look, enough is enough. You've had your fun. Now you better leave me alone or else.
Or else what?
Close on her face, her mind thinking, calculating.
Well, my boyfriend will be here any second and he'll be pissed when I tell him.
No, I thought you didn't have a boyfriend.
Busted. She holds steady.
I lied. I do have a boyfriend and he'll be here any second and your ass better be gone.
Oh, sure.
I swear it. He's big and he plays football and he will beat the shit out of you.
Oh, I'm getting scared.
I'm telling you the truth. I lied before.
Oh, I believe you.
So you better leave.
His name wouldn't be Steve, would it?
Silence. Casey buckles at the knees, losing it.
How do you know his name?
Go to the back door and turn on the porch light. Again.
Casey, terrified, forces herself to move, staggering to the kitchen, to the glass doors. Shaky hand finds the light switch. She hits it. The backyard is lit. Sitting in a lawn chair in the middle of the backyard is a big linebacker of a guy, a boyfriend. Steve. Tied and gagged. He's been roughed up, but he's alive. His eyes wide in fear, staring at his girlfriend, pleading with her.
Oh my God!
Casey screams. Her hand moves to the lock on the door.
No, I wouldn't do that if I were you.
Terror rides Casey's face. She's petrified.
Where are you?
Yes.
Her eyes search the yard, combing bushes, trees. He could be anywhere. Anywhere.
Oh, please don't hurt him.
Well, that all depends on you.
Why are you doing this?
Tears find their way, streaming down Casey's face.
I want to play a game.
No.
Then he dies right now.
No.
Which is it?
A long silence. Casey touches the glass, staring at Steve. This big jock of a guy is crying too.
Oh, what kind of game?
Turn off the light.
Her hand goes to the switch. Steve tugs and pulls at his straps, as if begging her. His face sweat and tears. Click. He disappears in the darkness. Casey moves away from the glass, back towards the living room, unbelieving, horrified.
Here's how we play. I ask a question. If you get it right, Steve lives.
3 curtainless windows line one wall. Casey crouches down behind the couch, tipping a lamp cord from its socket, darkening the room. Her body withers.
Please don't do this.
Oh, come on.
No,
It'll be fun.
please,
It's
please,
an easy category movie trivia.
please.
I'll even give you a warm-up.
Don't do this. I can't.
Name the killer in Halloween.
No.
Come on. It's your favourite scary movie, remember? He had the white mask. He stalked the babysitters.
Casey goes silent. A nervous wreck. She can barely speak, much less think.
I don't know.
Oh, come on. Yes, you
Please, please stop.
Casey is sobbing.
do. What's his name?
I can't think.
Casey has officially reached hysteria, petrified beyond all reality.
Steve's counting on you.
Suddenly, through tears, God sent.
Michael Myers.
Yes!
Casey sighs, relieved.
Now, time for the real question.
No.
But you're doing so well.
Just please go away. Leave us alone.
Then answer the question. Same category.
Casey is a blubbering, wet mass on the floor.
Please, please, no.
Name the killer in Friday the 13th.
A mad smile purses Casey's lips. She knows this. She leaps up through tears, screaming.
Jason! Jason! It is Jason!
Slight pause.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's the wrong answer.
No, it's not. It was Jason.
Oh, afraid not.
It was Jason. I saw that goddamn movie 20 times. It was Jason.
Then you should know Jason's mother, Mrs. Voorhees, was the original killer. Jason didn't show up until the sequel.
Casey is stupefied.
You tricked me.
Lucky for you, there's a bonus round. But poor Steve, well, I'm afraid he's out.
This implication sends Casey running to the kitchen, to the glass doors. She flips on the porch light to see Steve, eyes wide, sitting in the lawn chair, his belly gaping open, a mass of blood and ripped flesh. His insides lay on the ground between his feet, steam rising. A scream erupts from the bottom of her soul as Casey collapses on the floor, nearly passing out. Close on her face, pale and ghostly white. She sobs.
Final question. Are you ready?
She doesn't answer. A long, maddening silence. Casey reaches up and clicks off the light, making Steve go away, wishing, hoping.
Leave me alone. Please.
Answer the question and I will.
Casey is curled up on the floor like an infant, rocking slowly back and forth.
What door am I at?
What?
There are 2 doors to your house, a front door and a back one. If you answer correctly, you live.
From where Casey sits, she can see both the front and back doors. She deliberates. With her last bit of strength, she tries to strategize, eyeing both the front door, the back door, trying to decide between the two.
Don't make me. I can't. I won't.
Your call.
In the darkness, Casey crawls to the kitchen counter. She leans up and grabs a long, sharp knife. Casey looks around her. She looks down the hall to the front door, then turns back to the kitchen glass door as it suddenly shatters to bits. as a lawn chair comes flying through it. Exploding glass sprays everywhere. This incites Casey like fire. She springs to her feet, bolting out of the kitchen as a shadow moves quickly through the shuttered doorframe. Angle on Casey. Somewhere in the house, back flat against a window, listening to feet on cracking glass, she turns and unlocks the latch, quietly sliding it up. She can hear him move through the foyer to the front door. Casey lifts herself up and puts her legs through the window. She holds the knife in one hand, the phone in the other. Casey eases out the window, fumbling, dropping the knife back in the house. She starts to reach for it. Look it. She takes off. Exterior side of house. Casey is at the back corner of the house.
I can hear you. I know you're here.
Casey eases along a narrow path between a tall fence and the side of the house, going for the front yard. She must pass the 3 curtainless windows. She gets to the first one and peeks in. The figure has pulled open the foyer closet, searching for her. Casey creeps along to the next window. She looks in. The figure is completely on the other side of the room, moving towards the hall that leads to other parts of the house. She moves further along the house, squeezing by hedges to the 3rd window. She peeks in to the figure, staring back at her, his face covered with a ghostly white mask, inches from her, his eyes piercing through, soulless. Casey screams bloody murder as a hand crashes through the glass window, grabbing hold of her neck. She beats at him, trying to free herself. Her nails dig into his arm. She wrenches from side to side, finally breaking free as the hands disappear inside the house. Exterior corner of house. Casey sails around the corner of the house, eyeing the front yard. It remains closed. Her eyes cover the sprawling country yard when suddenly headlights appear. In the distance, coming down the road towards the house, she recognizes them instantly. Mom, Dad! She tears across the yard towards them, moving like lightning. The car turns into the driveway. Casey screams, waving madly, rushing by a tree. As the ghost masked figure appears, Casey stumbles back, catching her balance. The figure moves on her, the arm poised high, a flash of silver, and Casey is struck across the chest. She looks down to see her shirt blossoming red. A look of bewilderment as she drops to one knee. The knife rises again. Casey throws her hand forward. The blade comes down. But it's blocked by the portable phone, still in her hand. She turns, staggering to exterior driveway. A middle-aged couple emerge from the parked car. They move to the front door, completely unaware of what's happening to their daughter. Only feet away from them. Exterior front yard. Casey stumbles forward. Her parents 10 feet away. She opens her mouth to scream, but no sound resonates. She's beyond words, staggering, swaying, the figure moving behind her. Exterior front door. Her parents approach the door.
That fish smelled strong.
I told you to send it back.
The father discovers the front door ajar. Puzzled look. Casey is right behind them with one arm outstretched. If they'd only turn around. They enter the door. They enter the house and close the door as Casey collapses on the ground, clutching her bloody chest, a figure upon her. Interior foyer. The father sees straight back into the kitchen, the shattered patio door.
Jesus.
What is it? Where's Casey?
Casey? Casey?
In a split second, they're both panic-stricken. The father begins searching the house frantically. The mother is hysterical. Exterior front yard, close on Casey. She's dragged by her feet through damp soil, the life going fast from her body, her hand still clutching the phone. Interior foyer, back in the house.
Where is she?
Call the police.
The mother moves to the phone in the foyer, picks it up. There is no dial tone. She jiggles the base.
Casey, where are you, honey? Call the police, goddammit.
The phone's dead.
The softest, faintest voice is heard.
Help me!
Oh God, I can hear her. Where's my baby?
Husband returns to the foyer, finding his wife clinging to the phone.
Where is she?
I can hear her. Mother of God, I can hear her.
The father upturns the living room.
Casey? Casey?
Not my daughter. Not my...
The husband grabs hold of his wife.
Get in the car and drive down to the Mackenzies.
The mother throws the front door open and rushes out. The father moves through the house when a scream echoes out. That of his wife. He tears off for the front door. Exterior front door. The father rushes out through the door to find his wife, on her knees, bent over, retching. His eyes move beyond to a tree in the front yard. His stomach fails him. His dinner rises as he bears witness to the single most horrifying sight he will ever see. That of his only daughter, as she hangs from a big oak tree, strung up, very much dead, her stomach ripped open. Blackout. Begin May titles. Fade in, interior bedroom, same night. A teenage girl's room, neat and pinkish, on the bed amongst age-old stuffed animals like open school books. The camera pans to a desk against the wall where Sidney Prescott, a young girl of 17, sits, her face glued to the computer monitor in front of her. Close on her face, sharp and clever, with deep, lonely eyes. She's comfortable in a plain flannel nightgown. Hands are at work typing feverishly when suddenly, trash! Boom! A noise behind her. She turns abruptly, eyeing an open window across the room. Scratching sound. She stands and moves towards it. Exterior window. Sidney sticks her head out the window. The late night wind hits her face as a shadow appears just to the left of her. Hand reaches out, grabs her, and suddenly a figure is on top of her. Interior bedroom. Sid screams, pulling away from the figure, breaking free, falling back onto the floor.
Hey! It's just me.
Sid looks up to see Billy Loomis, a young, strapping boy of 17, handsome and alluring, a star quarterback, class president type of guy. He sports a smile that could last for days.
Billy, what the hell?
Listen, I'm sorry, alright? Don't hate me.
What are you doing here?
Wait, you sleep in that?
Billy pulls himself through the window.
Your dad's in the other room.
I'll only stay a second, okay?
Suddenly, the bedroom door bursts open. The doorknob catches on the open closet door behind it, jamming it, holding it in place. What's going on in there? Billy quickly rolls out of sight behind the bed. Sidney unjams the door to reveal Mr. Prescott. Late 40s, a severe presence, a distracted man, nervous and preoccupied.
Are you okay?
Can you knock?
I heard screaming.
No, you didn't.
No? Oh, well. I'm hitting the sack. My flight leaves first thing in the morning. Now, the expo runs all weekend, so I won't be back till Sunday. There's cash on the table, and I'll be staying at the Raleigh Hilton.
Out at the airport.
So call if you need me.
Got it.
He gives the bedroom a quick once over.
I could have swore I heard screaming.
Sidney distracts him, giving him a peck on the cheek.
Have a good trip.
Sleep tight, sweetie.
He gives her a wink and pulls the door closed. Billy reappears.
Close call.
What are you doing here?
Billy takes a flying leap and lands on the bed.
I don't know. It just occurred to me that I've never stuck for your bedroom window before,
Now that it's out of your system.
and I was home, bored, watching television. The Exorcist. It was on. It got me thinking about you.
Oh, it did.
Yeah, it was the edited for TV version. All the good stuff was cut out, and I started thinking about us. Now, 2 years ago, we started off kind of hot and heavy. All right, yeah, a nice solid R rating. Okay, maybe we was even on our way to an NC-17, and well, how things have changed lately, and we're sort of. Well, Sid, we kind of just became edited for television.
So you thought you could sneak in my window and we would have a little bump?
No, not at all. I wouldn't dream of breaking your underwear rule, okay? I just thought you might do some, I don't know, top of clothes stuff, maybe?
She snuggles up to him, planting a kiss on his lips, passionate and gentle. He, however, reacts like a shark, moving on top of her, his hands everywhere as he presses into her. Sidney breaks away.
Hey, time to go, stud bucket.
Billy sits up. His heart isn't racing. It's pounding.
See what you do to me.
Sweat has popped out all over his forehead. His breathing is heavy.
You know what my dad will do to you?
Alright, yeah, I'm going.
He moves to the window. She follows, motioning to his wound.
I appreciate the romantic gesture.
She gives him a kiss goodnight, sweet and simple.
Hey, about the sex stuff. I'm not trying to rush you. I was only like half serious. Like,
She kisses him again as he eases through the window.
Did you settle for a PG-13 relationship?
what's that?
She pulls her flannel gown open for a split second, flashing her left breast. His mouth drops open, surprise, shock. Their eyes meet. They share a smile.
Okay, get out of here.
Interior Sidney's bedroom early morning. Close on Sidney, snuggling her pillow, sleeping peacefully when the radio alarm blasts from the night table loud enough to wake the dead. Sidney bolts up, disc jockeying.
Found brutally murdered.
Click. Sidney, quick with reflexes, shuts it off instantly. A car trunk slams shut outside. Sidney pulls herself out of bed and leans to the window just in time to see her dad jumping in his car. She half waves down at him, but he doesn't see her. He's as good as gone, pulling out of the driveway and disappearing down the road. A moment as Sidney stands at the window, staring out after him. Exterior school, morning. Close on a sign. Bayborough High School, home of the Fighting Bulldogs. The camera pulls back to reveal a picture-perfect small-town school, old and charming. Students come and go, moving about. Nothing unusual except for the 6 police cars, 4 news vans, flashing cameras, and crowds of looky-loos gathered just off campus. Exterior sidewalk. Sidney approaches the school, seeing the commotion. 4 different reporters stand in front of 4 different cameras, giving 4 different news reports. She moves past a policeman standing guard. Her interest piqued. She stops at the first reporter, who is Gale Weathers, 30s. Smart face is overshadowed by a flashy smile and a massive mane of chemically enhanced hair.
The small town of Bayborough, North Carolina was devastated last night when 2 young teenagers were found brutally butchered. Authorities have yet to issue a statement, but our sources tell us that no arrest has been made and the murderer could strike again.
On Sidney, moved, disturbed. From behind, a finger taps her shoulder. She spins around to see Tatum Riley, same age, feisty, carefree.
Oh my god, do you believe this shit?
What happened?
They break away from the crowd and head for school.
Oh god, you don't know? Casey Becker and Steve Forrest were killed last night.
No way.
And not just killed, Sid. We're talking splatter movie killed split open, end to end.
Casey Becker? She sits next to me in English.
Well, not anymore. Her parents found her hanging from a tree, her insides on the outside.
Well, do they know who did it?
Fucking clueless. They're interrogating the entire school. Teachers, students, staffs, janitors.
They think it's school-related?
I have no clue. Dewey said this is the worst crime they've ever seen. Even worse than... But it's bad. They're bringing in the feds like this is big.
Sidney looks back at Gale. Her face is deeply pained. Interior classroom later. A frumpy old woman, Mrs. Tate, faces their class. Her hands clasped together. A tragic look upon her face.
Oh, a terrible tragedy, an unbearable loss. It's days like today that we need prayer in school.
Sidney sits near the rear of the room. The desk in front of her sits vacant. Sidney cannot take her eyes off it. The door opens, and a student appears with a slip of paper. He hands it to Mrs. Tate.
Sidney, it appears to be your turn.
Interior Principal's office. The room is at capacity, wall to wall with police and the likes. Some sit, stand, lean. Sheriff Burke, a round man in his 50s, wipes the stress from his face.
Who's up next?
A young officer looks at the clipboard. This is Deputy Riley, better known as Dewey. He's a big guy, 20s, handsome in a scrubbed clean, boyish way.
Sidney Prescott.
Sheriff gestures to her. Bring her in. Principal Himbry, 50s, an old codger of a man wearing a sour face, speaks up.
Sidney Prescott. She was the daughter of...
We all know Sidney, Mr. Himbry.
How's she doing? She's adjusted well. Maintains an A average. You never know, she...
Himbry stops short, seeing Sidney in the doorway. He rises and seats her.
Hi, Sidney.
Sheriff Burke. Dewey.
Dewey shakes his head seriously.
It's Deputy Riley today, Sid.
How is everything?
Good.
And your dad? How's he doing?
We're fine. Thanks.
We'll be brief, Sidney. The police have a few questions they'd like to ask you.
Sidney eyes them all nervously. Exterior school courtyard later. Students sit at outdoor tables eating lunch. Crowded at one table is the gang. This consists of Sidney, Billy, and Tatum. Next to Tatum sits her boyfriend Stuart, with his arm draped across her back. He's a Billy wannabe, almost the jog, almost handsome, almost cool. He tries way too hard. Across the table is the fifth wheel, Randy, a tall and gangly kid with no such Billy-like aspirations. A witty jokester who elevates yeet to coolness.
Hunt? Why would they ask if you like to hunt?
I don't know. They just did.
Because their bodies were good.
Ugh. Sidney flinches.
Thanks, Randy.
They didn't ask me if I'd like to hunt.
There's no way a girl could have killed them.
That is so sexist. The killer could easily be female. Basic instinct.
That was an ice pick. Not exactly the same.
Yeah, Casey and Steve were completely hollowed out. Takes a man to do something like that.
Or a man's mentality.
How do you gut someone?
All eyes turn to Sidney. A serious silence. And then...
You take a knife and you slip from the groin to the sternum.
Sidney shivers down her soul. The whole table rolls their eyes at Stu.
What? Was she asked?
It's called tact. You fuck rag.
Sorry.
You remember in Jaws when they caught the wrong shark at first and Richard Dreyfuss cut it open to look for body parts and all they found was a license plate and all this milky white goo.
Stu leans over and socks Randy in the arm.
You heard Billy. Shut the fuck up.
Hey, Stu. Didn't you used to date Cassie?
Stu's taken back, a little off guard.
For about 2 seconds.
Before she dumped him for Steve.
Tatum turns to Stu. Surprised.
I thought you dumped her for me.
I did. He's full of shit.
Are the police aware that you dated the victim?
What are you saying? That I killed her or something?
It would certainly improve your high school Q.
Stu was with me last night.
Ooh, so before or after he sliced and diced?
Oh, fuck you, you nutcase. Where were you last night?
Working, thank you.
Oh, I thought the Blockbuster fired you.
Twice.
I didn't kill anybody.
Nobody is saying you did.
Besides, takes a real man to do something like that.
I'm gonna gut your ass in a second.
Did you really put her liver in the mailbox? I heard they found her liver in the mailbox.
Randy, you goon fuck. I'm eating here.
Stu nibbles at Tatum's neck.
Yeah, Randy, she's getting mad. I think you better leave her alone.
Stuart cracks up at his own joke. The others just moan. Sidney is about to crawl out of her skin, trying hard to ignore it all. Exterior Sidney's house later. A huge 2-story country home with a spacious lawn. A yellow school bus stops in front of the house and Sidney steps off. The house looks big and lonely as Sidney moves up the walk to the front door. Interior bedroom later. Sidney is on the telephone.
You sure I can stay over? My dad won't be back till Sunday.
No prob. I'll pick you up after practice.
Tell your mom I said thanks.
Yeah. Like, are you okay?
It's just, the police and reporters, it brings it all back.
I'll be there by 7. I promise.
Thanks, Tatum.
Later.
Sidney hangs up. She takes a seat at a computer and boots it up. She sits in front of it staring at the blue screen, her own reflection staring back. Interior living room later. Sidney comes down the stairs, her arms carrying a change of clothes, toothbrush, makeup. She opens the hall closet and pulls a small overnight bag from the top shelf. Moving into the living room, she loads it up, flopping down on the sofa, hitting the TV remote. Close on the screen, a news reporter fades in.
The entire nation was shocked today by the teen murders in North Carolina.
Sidney switches channels.
State Bureau of Investigation have joined forces with local authorities to help catch what the governor has called the most heinous.
The channel switches again. Gale Weathers appears standing in front of the school, white teeth gleaming.
This is not the first time the small town of Bayboro has endured such a tragedy. Only a year ago, Maureen Prescott, wife and mother, was found raped and murdered.
An old black and white snapshot fills the screen. A woman, beautiful and familiar. Clothes on Sidney. Eyes frozen, mesmerized by the image. Suddenly she clicks the TV off. Her eyes go to the clock on the end table. 5:45 p.m. Her eyes then move to the framed photo next to it. The same black and white photo stares at her. A healthy, vibrant woman. An older version of Sidney. Sidney curls up on the sofa, closing her eyes tight. Interior living room later. The clock on the end table reads 7:15 p.m. Sidney is fast asleep on the couch. The phone rings. Sidney leaps up, grabbing the portable phone.
Oh, practice ran late and I'm on my way.
It's past 7.
Oh, don't worry about it. Casey and Steve didn't bite it until way after 10.
I'm not worried.
Good, because I'm going to swing by Blockbuster and get us a video. I was thinking Tom Cruise and all the right moves. You know, if you pause it just right, you can see his penis.
Whatever. Just hurry.
Bye!
She hangs up the phone. It immediately rings again.
Tatum?
Hello, Sidney.
It's him. The voice from before.
Hi. Who is this?
You tell me.
Sidney thinks, trying to place his voice. It sounds a little distorted.
I have no idea.
Scary night, isn't it? With the murders and all. It's like right out of a horror movie or something.
Oh, yeah, Randy. You gave yourself away. Are you calling from work? Tatum's on her way over.
Do you like scary movies, Sidney?
I like that thing that you're doing with your voice, Randy. It's sexy.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Don't start. You know I don't watch that shit.
And why's that?
Because they're all the same. It's always some stupid killer stalking some big-breasted girl who can't act, who always runs up the stairs when she should be going out the front door. They're ridiculous.
A brief silence.
Are you alone in the house?
That is so unoriginal. You disappoint me, Randy.
Oh, well maybe that's because I'm not Randy.
So who are you?
The question is not who am I. The question is where am I?
So where are you?
Your front porch.
This gives her pause. She moves to the window and pulls aside the drape.
Why would you call me from my front porch?
Oh, that's the original part.
Angle through window. She can't quite see all of the porch.
Oh, yeah? Well, I call your bluff.
Sidney goes to the front door. She unlocks the bolt, unsnags the chain, and pulls the door open, revealing the front porch. Completely empty. She steps out onto it, phone still in hand. A single light shines overhead, illuminating the porch, but little beyond. Darkness is all around.
So, where are you?
Right here.
Sidney peers out into the darkness, past thick shrubs that grow on either side of the porch.
Can you see me right now?
Uh-huh.
What am I doing?
She sticks her finger up her nose, pretending to pick. Silence. No answer.
Good try, Randy. Tell Tatum to hurry up. Bye now.
If you hang up, you'll die, just like your mother.
Sidney stops dead in her tracks, speechless.
Do you want to die, Sidney? Your mother sure didn't.
His seriousness unnerves her. Sid flies off the handle.
Fuck you, you cretin!
He hands up on him, moves back inside the house, locks, chains, and bolts the door when a figure comes leaping out of the hall closet, rushing her, ramming into her side. The phone flies. The figure is on top of her as she goes down, screaming. She looks up to see the figure, darkly dressed with a pale, distorted face, white and ghostly. The mask. Her instincts surface and she kicks up with her foot, making the contact with his leg. He topples over, coming right at her, his hand finding her neck. Suddenly, a long silver blade appears above her. Sidney pulls, jerks, twists. Finally, she lifts her torso forward, knocking the figure off her, sending him reeling into the living room. Wasting no time, Sidney leaps to her feet. She moves to the front door, unlocks it, pulls it open. It catches on the chain. Shit! She pushes it closed again, looking behind her. The figure has risen, knife in hand. Sidney pulls on the chain that inexplicably turns and runs up the stairs. The figure right behind her. Interior, upstairs landing. The figure leaps at Sidney, taking hold of her foot. She grabs madly at the wall. Her hands grasp a framed painting. A quiet country home, subdued colours done in oils. She rips it from the wall, swinging it behind her. It catches the figure head on, smashing against his skull, sending him backwards, tumbling down the stairs. Sidney races to her bedroom. Interior bedroom. She locks the door shut, pulls the closet door open, placing the edge right at the doorknob, just as the figure pounds against the bedroom door. Ramming it, it rips open, but the closet door catches it in a crazy vice-like hold. Sidney grabs the desk phone. It's dead, off the hook downstairs. The figure rushes the door several times. The frame splinters, but won't give. Sidney is at her computer. Punches at the keypad madly. Close on screen as words appear. Fax modem 911 send. The knife slashes through the crack in the door wildly. On the screen again. Help! Killer! 34 Elm Street! Sidney presses send when it occurs to her. All is quiet. The figure is gone. A fearful silence. She looks around. The only sound. Her own rapid, terrified breathing. On the screen. Stay calm. Police en route. Suddenly, a noise at the window. Sidney looks up to see Billy, her boyfriend, staring at her, surprised.
Oh, Billy, please, God.
I heard screaming. The door was locked. Are you okay?
He's here, like, he's trying to kill me.
Billy pulls himself through the window. As he does, the small black object falls from his dark jeans. It hits the floor as Sidney eyes it. A sleek, compact cellular phone. Sidney stops in her tracks, their eyes meet. An eternity. A siren is heard in the distance. Sidney bolts.
Hey, no, wait, what's going?
Billy reaches for her. Sidney unlocks the bedroom door and tears out of the room. Interior landing. Sidney nearly falls down the stairs. Interior foyer. She rips the chain off the door, pulls it open, coming face to face with a white, ghostly mask. A massive scream erupts from her guts as the camera pulls back to find Deputy Dewey, Deputy Riley, holding it. Red lights flash, sirens blast as car after car surrounds the house. Sidney falls into the safety of Dewey's arms. Exterior front yard minutes later. The yard is a whirlwind of activity, an ambulance, squad cars, cops everywhere. Close on Billy's face as it smashes against the hood of a police car. His hands are being cuffed, his rights being read.
I didn't do anything, Sid. Where's Sid? Ask her. She'll tell you.
Dewey holds a car door open as Sheriff Burke steps out.
We got him, Sheriff. Billy Loomis.
Hank Loomis's kid? Oh, Jesus.
He's her boyfriend.
They approach Billy as he's being placed in a squad car.
Sheriff, I didn't do it. Please, call my dad. Call my dad, please.
The squad car disappears with Billy as another car comes to a stop in front of the house. Tatum gets out, freaked beyond belief. Back to the sheriff and Dewey as they storm across the yard.
I was the first to respond.
What are you doing out here?
Drive-by patrol.
How's she?
She's tough.
Have to be. The shit she's gone through.
Across the yard sits Sidney in the back of an ambulance as paramedics check her out. Sheriff Burke and Riley approach.
We're seeing a lot of you today.
She tries to smile, but fails.
You going to be able to come down to the station and talk to us for a bit?
Yeah.
Tatum appears barreling past an officer.
What happened? My God!
Tatum rushes to her, grabbing hold of her.
What are you doing here?
Oh God, Sid, I'm so sorry that I was late.
You can't be here, Tatum. This is an official crime scene.
It's okay. She was supposed to pick me up.
Yeah, her dad's out of town. She's staying with us.
Does Mum know?
Yes, you doofus.
2 news vans come driving up the street.
The vultures are coming. Let's get you out of here.
Exterior street. A big white news van comes to a stop in front of the house. The side door slides open and Gale Weathers hops out just in time to see Sidney being escorted to a squad car.
I'll be damned.
Jumping from the driver's seat is Kenny, Gale's cameraman and flunky, an earnest young chap on the chubby side.
What?
Jesus, the camera, hurry!
But it's too late. Sidney is as good as gone. Gale sees Tatum moving quickly to her car.
Excuse me.
Tatum looks up to see Gale Weathers rushing her.
Was that Sidney Prescott they took away?
Oh, I don't know.
Tatum hops in her car, ignoring her.
What happened to her?
I'm not talking to you.
Tatum's car peels out as Kenny comes running up with his camera.
Oh, where'd she go?
Gale spins around, flashing pearly whites.
Look, Kenny, I know you're about 50 pounds overweight, but when I say hurry, please interpret that as move your fat tub of lard ass now.
Gale moves back to the van, leaving Kenny miffed. Interior police station. A small town station. The bullpen is a little square room with 4 desks. And tonight, it's hopping. Cops everywhere. Interior sheriff's office. Sidney sits at a desk, drinking a cup of water. She wears the sheriff's jacket over her shoulders. Dewey approaches.
Did you reach my dad?
You sure it was the Hilton?
At the airport.
He's not registered. Could he have gone to another hotel, maybe?
I don't know. I guess.
We'll find him, Sid. Don't worry.
Sidney stares blankly, numb. Interior Sheriff's Office. Billy sits opposite Sheriff Burke. Next to Billy sits his father, Hank Loomis, an older version of Billy.
What are you doing with a cellular telephone, son?
It's my phone. He was just playing around with it.
You got some ideas of playing around, boy.
I didn't call anyone with it. I just took it for fun.
Everyone's got one now. Why don't you check the phone bill for Christ's sake? Call my carrier, Airphone Comp. They'll because of every number that I've dialed.
Thank you, Hank. We're on it. What were you doing out at Sidney's tonight?
I just wanted to see her, alright? That's all.
You rode your bike out there?
Yes, sir.
And last night? Sidney said you crawled through her window last night too.
You were out last night?
I watched TV for a while, but I felt like going for a bike ride, okay?
Did you ride past Casey Becker's house?
No, I didn't. I didn't kill anyone, Sheriff!
We're gonna have to keep you, Billy. The governor's got SBI, FBI, and God knows who else is on their way down here.
Billy fights tears.
This is crazy! I didn't do it!
Sheriff Burke eyes him up and down, very carefully. Interior Police bullpen minutes later. Tatum has joined Sidney. The sheriff's door opens and Billy is led out by a couple of uniforms. Burke and Dewey appear in the door, watching Tatum comfort Sidney. Out of earshot.
That ghost mess is sold at both Kroger's and Walmart, neither of which keep purchase records.
What about the cellular phone bill?
They're pulling Loomis's account, but it'll be morning before we see something. You think he did it?
20 years ago, I would have said not a chance. But these kids today. Damn if I know.
Hey, Dewey! Can we go now?
Hold up a sec.
She's staying with you?
We haven't located her dad yet.
God damn it, Dewey!
Dewey turns to her, his face red.
What did Mother tell you? When I wear this badge, you treat me like a man of the law.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Deputy Dewey boy, but we're ready to go.
Use the back way. Avoid the circus.
Exterior police station side door. The door opens and Sidney, Tatum, Dewey, and a couple of officers exit, avoiding the horde of reporters that can be seen around the corner, waiting anxiously at the front entrance.
I'll get the car ready. Wait here.
Dewey takes off. From the darkness of the alley, Gale Weathers appears with Kenny and his camera. They've been waiting.
Hello, Sidney.
Sidney spins around to see Gale, standing, smiling at her. Sidney's body tightens and her face goes taut.
Some night. Are you all right?
Their eyes meet in a cold, familiar stare. Sidney says nothing. She's visibly shaking.
What happened?
Look, she's not answering any of your questions. Just leave us alone, okay?
No, it's okay, Tatum. She's just doing her job. Right, Gale?
Yeah, that's right.
Dewey in the squad car turns into the alley and pulls up. The other news people have wisened up. They begin to flock the alley.
How's the book?
It'll be out later this year.
Sidney tries to contain herself, squeezing clenched
I'll look for it.
fist.
I'll send you a copy.
In a blurred, unexpected instant, Sidney brings her fist forward, smashing it hard into Gale Weathers' face. The impact sends Gale reeling backwards, knocking into Kenny as they both tumble to the pavement. On Sidney, breathing deep, a sense of satisfaction on her face. Interior, Tatum's bedroom later. A spacious bedroom, typical. Tatum and Sidney lay on the bed. They both wear nightshirts.
Oh god, I loved it! I'll send you a copy. Bam! Bitch went down. I'll send you a copy. Bam! Sid! Super bitch!
Dewey appears in the doorway holding a bag of ice.
I thought you might want some ice for that, right hook.
Sidney sits up, takes the ice and puts it on her hand.
I'll be right next door. Try and get some sleep, okay?
Dewey moves back out the door.
Any word on my dad?
Not yet, but we're looking. And in the meantime, if you need anything.
Yeah.
Dewey smiles, pulling the door closed on his way out. Sidney lies back down.
Just another sleepover at the Rileys.
Just like old times, ain't it?
No, nothing's like it used to be.
Sidney rolls over onto her side, away from Tatum. Telephone rings. Somewhere in the house.
Do you really think that Billy did it?
He was there, Tatum.
I knew that guy was too perfect. He was destined to have a flaw.
A knock at the door. It opens and a friendly greying woman pops in. This is Mama Riley. She wears a comforting smile.
Telephone, dear.
Well, who is it?
It's the Sid.
My dad?
Mama Riley shakes her head sadly.
Take a message.
It's alright, I'll get it.
Sidney takes off out the door. Mama Riley motions to Tatum.
Wait.
Tatum shrugs. Interior hallway. Sidney grabs the phone at the end of the hall.
Hello?
Hello, Sidney.
Him. The camera does a Hitchcock as Sidney's entire body goes weak. His voice moving through her, invading her. She cries out.
Oh, no!
Mama Riley turns in the doorway. Tatum comes bolting out of the bedroom.
Oh, Billy, boyfriend. An innocent guy doesn't stand a chance with you.
Leave me alone!
Looks like you fingered the wrong guy. Again.
Who are you?
Oh, just hang up, Sid.
Oh, don't worry. You'll find out. Soon enough. I promise.
Mama Riley beats on a closed bedroom door.
Dewey! Dewey!
This is gonna be fun, Sidney. Just like old times.
Look. Dewey flies out of his room wearing only his boxers, holding his gun.
What? What?
The phone goes dead. Sidney stands frozen. Exterior, Bayborough Main Street, dawn, establishing. The morning sun shines high over Bayborough Town Square. Cars come to light. Townsfolk stir as the picture postcard community awakens from a restless sleep. Interior kitchen, morning. Sidney and Tatum sit at the kitchen table, dressed and ready for school, as Mama Riley serves up breakfast. A small television sits on the counter, blaring. Dewey, in uniform, stands near the door, talking on the phone.
I think you girls really should stay home today.
Well, your objection is duly noted.
I'd rather be around a lot of people, Mama Riley.
From the TV, Sidney hears her name. Sidney Prescott. All eyes go to the television.
Who escaped a vicious attack last night was the daughter of Maureen Prescott, who was brutally killed last year when convicted murderer Cotton Weary.
Insert of Cotton Weary in prison fatigues. A once handsome man, now haggard and worn.
Broke into their home and savagely raped and tortured the deceased. Cotton Weary is currently awaiting appeal for the death sentence handed down after the young Sidney testified against him. She was the key witness in the state's prosecution.
It's never gonna stop, is it?
He is off the phone.
Billy was released. His cellular bill was clean. He didn't make those calls.
Somebody called me, Dewey. I'm not making it up.
I know. We're checking every cellular account in the country. Any calls made to you or Casey Becker are being cross-referenced. It's going to take time, but we'll find him.
My dad? Any word on him?
Riley shakes his head no. Exterior school street later. Once again, reporters line the street, attacking students as they make their way to school, asking questions, hungry for that teenage insight. Dewey's patrol jeep cruises by. Sidney watches from the passenger's window. Interior patrol car. Dewey pulls up in front of the school. Tatum hops out while Sid lingers. Suddenly, unsure. Dewey takes notice.
Hey, it's school. You'll be safe here.
Sidney forces herself out of the jeep as a microphone is shoved in her face.
How did it feel to almost be brutally murdered?
Dewey leaps from the car, intercepting the reporter.
Leave the girl alone, will you? She wants to go to school.
Sidney eyes the news van that's pulled up behind her. Side door slides open and Gale Weathers steps out.
Oh, come on, Sid.
Just a sec. I need to talk to someone.
She heads over to Gale. Exterior news van street. Sidney puts her head down, hiding her face, avoiding other reporters as she makes her way to Gale, who sits in the open door, checking her face in a mirror. Makeup tries hard to hide Sid's handiwork, a swollen black and blue right cheek. Gale spots Sidney immediately and leaps to her feet.
Stop right there.
Sidney throws up her hands in surrender.
I'm not here to fight.
Just stay back.
I want to talk to you.
Kenny, camera, now.
Kenny's head darts out from the van.
Off the record. No cameras.
Forget it.
Sidney contains herself.
Please, you owe me.
I owe you shit.
Gale moves inside the van, but Sidney is relentless.
You owe my mother.
Your mother's murder was last year's hottest court case. Somebody was going to write a book about it.
And it had to be you, with all your lies and bullshit theories.
What's your problem? You got what you wanted. Cotton Weary's in jail. They're going to gas him. The book's not going to change that.
Do you still think he's innocent?
Gale's interest is piqued. She eyes Sidney suspiciously.
He was convicted in a court of law. Your testimony put him away. Doesn't matter what I think.
During the trial, you did all those stories about me. You called me a liar.
I think you falsely identified him, yes.
Have you talked to Coulton?
Many times.
Has the story changed?
Not one word. He admits to having sex with your mother, but that's all.
He's lying. She wouldn't have touched him. He raped her and then butchered her. Her blood was all over his coat.
He was drunk that night. He left his coat at your house after your mother seduced him.
I saw him leaving wearing it.
But couldn't it have been someone else you saw wearing that coat? The same person who planted it in Cotton's car, framing him? The same person who really killed your mother?
A long beat. Sidney considers this for the millionth time.
No. Coulton murdered my mother.
But there's doubt in her voice. Gale's face lights up.
You're not so sure anymore, are you?
Sidney climbs up.
No, it was Coulton.
Tatum comes waltzing up.
Oh, nice welt.
You can also zeroing in Sidney, half realizing.
The killer is still on the loose, isn't he? These murders are related.
Yo, let's rock.
Sidney starts to fidget.
I'm sorry I mangled your face.
She takes off with Tatum. Gale calls after her.
Wait, Sidney, don't go.
But Sidney and Tatum have already disappeared in the crowd of students moving across campus. Gale looks to Kenny.
Jesus Christ. An innocent man on death row, a killer still on the loose. Kenny, tell me I'm dreaming.
Do you want to go live?
Gale's mind races with possibilities.
No, not so fast. We have nothing concrete.
When did that ever stop you? You can't sit on this. This is huge.
If I'm gonna blow this up, I need hard proof.
Oh, but it's so much easier when we make it all up.
Not this time. I owe Coulton that much. Hell, even I thought that man was guilty.
Serious school campus seconds later. Tatum and Sidney make their way across campus.
Just relax. You're at school now. No one can get you here.
But if it wasn't Billy, it could be anybody. He could be here at school right now.
They move up the walk as a figure falls in step behind them, sporting a white ghost mask.
Serial killers are smart by definition. They minimize their risk. They plan and pre-calculate everything. Showing up here would be like the most lame brain move he could ever make.
But he promised me he'd be back.
As easy as the figure appeared, it disappears, falling out of sight, unseen by either of them.
I wouldn't put too much stock in a psycho's promise.
They move up the front steps towards the main doors of the school as the ghost, masked figure reappears. Standing at the top of the steps, Sidney sees it first, stopping dead in her tracks. She steps back, spinning around to find a ghost face behind her as well, both of them approaching, closing in on her. Sidney starts to scream when the two ghosts bust up laughing, tearing off across campus. Exterior street. In front of the school, we catch up to a reporter doing a live remote. He holds a mask in his hand.
This morning, several students in what appears to be a prank have been spotted wearing masks. School officials have yet to comment, but this is the same type of mask worn by the killer.
Interior hallway minutes later. Just before the bell, the hallway is congested with students heading to class. Tatum is at her locker with Sidney.
This is a mistake. I shouldn't be here.
I want you to meet me here right after class, okay?
Billy appears in the crowd with Stu tagging behind. Tatum spots him first.
Oh, shit. What's he doing here?
Bet he's pissed.
Now just ignore him. You had good reason to think what you did.
Billy and Stu approach. Billy's face is solemn.
Hi, Sid, can we talk for a sec?
Sidney says nothing. She can barely look at him. Tatum intervenes.
You know, if I were accused of carving up two people, I'd take the opportunity to skip school.
Hey, go easy, Tatum. He didn't do it.
And talk to me, Sid.
Suddenly, a scream erupts. All eyes go to a ghost masked student running down the hall, screaming, wildly running amok.
Why are they doing this?
Are you kidding? This is like Christmas.
Billy punches Stu in the side.
Ow!
You open your mouth and somehow stupidity just pours out.
Sorry.
Sidney, clearly upset, takes off down the hall. Billy races off after her.
You stay away from her, Billy!
Tatum slams her locker door shut as the bell rings. Interior corridor seconds later. With first period underway, the halls have cleared. 1 or 2 struggling students can be seen rushing to class. Sidney moves quickly down the hall, rounding a corner, running smack into Billy. They collide hard, catching Sidney off guard, scaring the life out of her. She falls backwards, but Billy catches her fall.
Jesus shit.
Hey, it's just me.
Sidney pulls away from him quickly. Billy feels the slight.
What? You don't still think it's me, do you?
Sidney catches her breath.
No, I don't. I just. Oh God, Billy. Someone was there. Someone tried to kill me.
The police say I scared him off. It wasn't me, Sid.
I know. He called again last night at Tatum's house.
See, it couldn't have been me. I was in jail. Yeah, remember?
I'm so sorry. Please understand.
Understand what? That I got a girlfriend who would rather accuse me of being a psychopathic killer than touch me.
You know that's not true.
Then what is it? Is there somebody else?
No.
Is it the sex thing? Am I just being too pushy? Or
no, it's me, Billy. I need time. I'm still adjusting to my mom.
It's been a year since she died.
Tomorrow. 1 year tomorrow.
When are you gonna let it go, Sid? When my mom left my dad, I just accepted it. That is the way it is. She is not coming back.
Your parents split up. It's not the same thing. Your mom left town. She's not in a coffin somewhere.
You have to move on, Sid.
Sidney starts to walk away, but turns back. Angry.
I'm glad to know you're coping so well with life, Billy. But some of us aren't so perfect. Some of us are just trying to hold on.
Sidney disappears through a door marked girls' bathroom, leaving Billy alone in the hallway. He smacks his forehead, pissed at himself. Interior, girls' bathroom. Large and spacious. Closed bathroom stalls line one wall, facing a row of sinks and a huge mirror. Sidney enters as 2 girls, tinkle and talk, each from their respective stalls.
No, she was never attacked. I think she made it all up.
Why would she lie about it?
For attention. The girl has some serious issues.
Sidney listens intently. Toilet flushes. Sidney quickly jumps into a stall, hiding. Just as girl number 1 appears from a stall, she looks like that voice, a snotty little twit.
What if she did it? What if Sidney killed Casey and Steve?
And why would she do that?
Maybe she was hot for Steve and killed them both in a jealous rage.
Another toilet flushes.
Why would Sidney want to be with Steve? She has her own bubble butt boyfriend, Billy.
Maybe she's a slut just like her mum.
Inside the stall, Sidney listens, her face weakening.
You're evil.
Please, it's common knowledge. Her mother was a trollop.
Girl number 2 appears from her stall. Another twit. They both stand in front of the mirror, adjusting 2 snotty faces.
Cut some slack. She watched her mum get butchered.
And it fucked her up royally. Think about it. It makes perfect sense. Her mum's death leaves her distraught and hostile in a cruel and inhumane world. She's disillusioned, where's God, etc. Completely suicidal. And one day, she snaps. She wants to kill herself, but realizes teen suicide is out this year. And homicide is a much healthier therapeutic expression.
From the stall, Sidney listens. Her heart pounding, a jaw quivering.
Where do you get this shit?
Ricky Lake.
The two girls exit. Sidney moves out of the stall, catching her reflection in the mirror. Water drips somewhere from a leaky pipe as wind whistles in from the cracked transom above the bathroom door. It sounds almost like a whisper. Sidney. Sidney spins around. What the? She checks out the bathroom. The doors to the stalls are all closed. She bends down and scans beneath them, looking for feet. No one. Nothing. Sidney turns back to the mirror. Suddenly.
Sidney.
Unmistakable this time. The voice strikes Sidney like a nail through the eye. It comes from one of the stalls. She stands, thunderstruck, eyeing the stalls through the mirror.
Is someone there?
A long, morose silence. And then...
It's me, Sidney.
Sidney spins around. Fuck no! He's here! Terror floods her face. She eyes the exit door, then the row of stalls she must pass to get to it. She checks under the stalls again. Nothing. Where the fuck is he? Takes a step forward when 2 feet step down from a toilet onto the floor in the last stall. Sidney's face draws tight as the stall door begins to creak open. She bolts forward, making a break for it, slips on the wet floor, her feet flying out from under. Sidney reaches out, grabs hold of a sink, saves herself from falling. She glimpses a ghost mask in the mirror coming for her. Hand grabs her shoulder as she slams her body through the exit door, narrowly escaping. Interior corridor continuous. Sidney flies out to the bathroom door screaming, burning up the hallway, not looking back. A teacher, hearing her scream, peers out from an open doorway as Sidney sprints by him, not stopping, running, madly. Interior principal's office. Closed on a red-faced personal Himbri as he reads someone the riot act.
I'm sickened. Your whole havoc-inducing, thieving, whoring generation disgusts me.
The camera swings around to reveal 2 ghost masked students standing at attention. Mr. Himbri rips the mask off of one of the students' heads.
2 students have been savagely murdered. And this is how we express our compassion and sensitivity.
He rips the mask off the other student.
We throw on a mask and dance around campus just hoping someone else gets butchered before we get bored again. You're both expelled.
The ghost doth protest.
Oh, come on, Mr. Himbri. It was just a joke.
Yeah, that's not fair.
A deep-rooted hostility has taken over Mr. Himbri's face. Neither student budges, scared to even breathe.
No, it's not fair. Fairness would be to rip your insides out and hang you from a tree so you can be exposed for the desensitized, heartless little shits that you are.
Suddenly the door bursts open and Sidney appears, hysterical.
He's here! I saw him! He's here!
Mr. Himbri rushes to her, arms outstretched.
Easy, child.
Sidney collapses in his arms. Exterior school street minutes later. Dewey's patrol jeep is parked in front of the school. He stands in the open driver's door talking on the radio.
She's okay. Looks like some boys were teasing her. Embry's shutting down the school, though. I want you to take a look around.
Yes, sir, Sheriff.
Dewey shuts the jeep door and heads for campus when Gale Weathers appears, fake face aglow.
Hi, Gale Weathers, field correspondent. Inside story.
I know who you are, man. How's the eye?
Productive. So they're closing down the school?
Well, yes, for the time being.
Dewey heads for the school building. Gale scurries alongside of him.
And why is that? Has something happened?
You're not supposed to be here.
I know. I should be in New York covering the Sharon Stone stalker. But who knew? Please, call me Gale. You look awfully young to be a police officer.
Dewey's eyes wander down. He's clearly distracted.
I'm 25 years old.
25, huh? In a demographic study, I proved to be the most popular amongst males 11 to 24. I just missed you. Of course, you don't look a day over 12, except in the upper torso area. Does the force require you to work out?
Dewey looks away, blushing a bit.
No, because of my boyish good looks, muscle mass has increased my acceptance as a serious police officer.
They approach the school's front entrance. Suddenly, Mr. Himbry's voice is amplified through intercoms across campus via the PA system. They stop to listen.
Your attention, please. Due to the recent events that have occurred and until it comes to a resolve, effective immediately, all classes are suspended till further notice. The Bayborough Police Department has also asked me to announce citywide curfew beginning at 6 o'clock p.m. I repeat.
Gale speaks over Mr. Himbry's voice.
Boy, you people sure do make a fuss over a serial killer.
Serial killer is not really accurate. The killer has yet to strike twice.
Well, we can hope, can't we? We certainly don't have any leads. A ghost mask, a cellular phone, not much there.
We're tracking the cellular phone bill.
Really? You small town guys are good. And have you located Sidney's father?
No, not yet.
He's not a suspect, is he?
Well, we haven't ruled out that possibility.
Dewey, realizing he said too much, thumbs up.
Anyway, if you'll excuse me.
Am I keeping you up? I'm sorry.
That's quite all right. If I may so, you're much prettier in person.
Dewey starts up the school's front steps as the bell rings.
So you do watch the show?
He turns to her earnestly as students come pouring out the front doors.
I just turned 25. I was 24 for a whole year.
You are precious. Please, call me Gale.
She smiles deliciously, gives him a wink, then struts off to Dewey, like a nervous little schoolboy watches her go. Interior school corridor seconds later. School is clearing out. The halls have begun to empty as Tatum escorts Sidney down the hallway.
It was just some sick fuck having a laugh.
It was him, Tatum, I know it.
Tatum wants to believe her. But
You're not to be alone again. Is that clear? If you pee, I pee.
It appears.
Is this not cool or what? But hey, Sid, what happened?
For once, do just drop it.
Okay, but whatever you did, the entire student body thanks you.
Dew moves to Tatum and gives her a kiss.
And to celebrate this impromptu fall break, I propose we have a party. Tonight, my house.
Are you serious?
My parents are out of town. It will be like my hurricane bash last year. Nothing extreme, just a few of us hanging.
This could be good. What do you think, Sid?
I don't know.
Ah, come on. Pathos has his backs.
Sidney considers trying hard to be good-spirited.
Remember, there's safety in numbers.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
Cool. See you guys tonight. Bring food.
Stu speeds off, sliding down the empty hallway. Interior, principal's office later. Mr. Himbry sits at his desk, staring at the ghost moths before them. He picks one of them up, snickering.
Damn.
He stands and moves to the closet next to his office door. He pulls it open to reveal a mirror hooked inside the door. He tries the mask on, pulling it over his face, looking in the mirror when a knock at the door stops him. He rips the mask off his head, turns to his office door and opens it to reveal an empty doorway. He pokes his head into the office area and looks around. But no one's there.
Yes? Hello?
The place is empty. A little suspicious, he closes the door, catching his reflection in the closet mirror. He looks at the mask in his hands. Jesus, even he's jumpy. 2 seconds later, another knock at the door. Embry grabs the door quickly, this time throwing it open. Again, no one's there. He steps out into the outer office, determined to catch a prankster. Interior, outer office continues. Completely empty. Mr. Himbry moves through the outer office and into the school corridor. The overhead lights have been turned off, and the corridor is now dark and deserted. He looks up and down the hall. Only a janitor is seen in the distance pushing a broom.
Little shits.
Mr. Himbry returns to his office. Interior office continues. Himbry re-enters his office, moving to his desk, when he spots closet door now closed shut. This gives him a pause. He'd left it open, hadn't he? Suddenly, he can't remember. He shifts, uneasy, reaching for the doorknob, pulling the door open to reveal an empty closet. He stands still a moment, suddenly realizing someone could easily now be standing behind the open closet door. Nervously pushes it shut to reveal nothing. Himbry shakes away his jitters, realizing he's spooked himself. He continues to his desk, pushing his office door shut when ghost masked figure lunges from behind it, knife in hand, quick and easy. 3 quick jabs to the stomach, and Himbry goes down. The ghost masked figure towering above him. Exterior, Tatum's house, afternoon later. The late afternoon sun is quickly disappearing. Tatum and Sidney rock on the front porch, looking out into the small town neighborhood. Dewey's patrol jeep is parked in the driveway. Despite loud music blaring from an inside stereo, this is a quiet moment.
Maybe Cotton Weary is telling the truth. Maybe he was having an affair with your mum.
So you think my mum was a slut too?
Oh, I didn't say that, Sid. But you know there were rumours. Your dad was always out in town on business. Maybe your mum was just a very unhappy woman.
If they were having an affair, how come that con couldn't prove it in court?
Well, you can't prove a rumour, that's why it's a rumour.
Created by that little tabloid twit, Gale Weathers.
Goes further back, Sid. There's been talk about other men.
Well, and you believe it?
Well, you can only hear that Richard Gere Gerbil story so many times before you have to start believing it.
A long silence as Sidney agonizes over all of this. She stands up and moves to the edge of the porch and stares out into the neighborhood.
If I was wrong about Coulton, then he's still out there.
Oh, just don't go there, Sid. You're starting to sound like some Wes Carpenter flick. Don't freak yourself out. We've got a long night ahead of us.
You're right. I'm cracking up. Ignore me.
Ah, come on. Let's rock.
Sid follows Tatum inside the house, never seeing the ghost masked figure that stands across the street under a tree. His presence so subtle and unobtrusive you'd have to see this movie a second time to know he was there all along. Exterior Main Street later. Stu is moving along the main street when Billy comes barreling up next to him.
So, how did you?
Piece of cake. She'll be there.
Thanks. Oh, what? You did it.
So you gonna try and make up with Sid?
Duh. That's quick.
I was just asking, why are you always at me?
Right. Okay. Because I'm trying to build your self-esteem. You're far too sensitive.
Oh. Billy thumbs Stu's forehead.
I thought, come on, you ready to party hard tonight, yeah?
You know it.
They come to a building centrally located in the heart of Main Street. A huge blue monstrosity that's bigger than the local bank and post office combined. The sign in front reads Blockbusters. Interior Blockbusters. Your typical Blockbusters, huge and crowded. Randy, in his blockbuster getup, is busy reshelving returns when Stu appears, knocking the videos out of his hand.
Jesus, this place is packed.
We had a run in the mass murder section.
You coming tonight?
Yeah, I'm off early. Curfew, you know. Now, that's poor taste.
What?
Randy refers to Billy, who stands down the aisle talking to two girls. The twits from the bathroom, perhaps.
If you were the only suspect in the senseless bloodbath, would you be standing in the horror section?
It was all a misunderstanding. He didn't do anything.
You are such a little lapdog. He's got killer printed all over his forehead.
Then why'd the police let him go?
Because obviously they don't watch enough movies. This is a standard horror movie. This is standard horror movie stuff. Prom night, revisited.
Randy moves down the aisle, reshelving videos.
Why would he want to kill his own girlfriend?
There's always some stupid bullshit reason to kill your girlfriend. That's the beauty of it all. Simplicity. Besides, if it's too complicated, you'll lose your target audience.
So? What's his reason?
Maybe Sidney wouldn't have sex with him.
She's saving herself for you.
Could be. Now that Billy's tried to mutilate her, you think Sid would go out with me?
I think her father did it. How come they can't find his ass?
Because he's probably dead. His body will come popping out in the last reel somewhere, eyes gauged. See, the police are always off track with this shit. If they watch Prom Night, they'd save some time. There's always a formula to it. A very simple one. Everyone's always a suspect. The father, the principal, the town derelict.
Which is you.
So while they're off investigating a dead end, Billy, who's been written off as a suspect, is busy planning his next hunting expedition.
How do we not know you're not the killer?
Randy spins around to find Billy right behind him. Stood.
Hi, Billy.
Maybe your movie freaked mind lost its reality button.
Randy shrugs, laughing it off.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm the first to admit it. If this were a scary movie, I'd be the prime suspect.
And what would be your motive?
It's 1995. Motives are incidental.
Exterior Main Street a little later. Dewey's patrol jeep makes its way down Main Street. It's almost dark. The street is close to deserted. Interior patrol jeep continuous. Dewey's behind the wheel having a heated conversation with Tatum while Sid stares out the window.
A party! A party! Mum's gonna kill you, then me!
Oh, don't be so self-righteous. Just a little blowout would be perfectly safe.
Sid stares out the window. Closed signs fill the storefronts. Few people rush to their car in a hurry to beat curfew.
God, look at this place. It's the town that dreaded sundown.
Hey, I saw that movie. True story. About some killer in Texas, I believe.
Hey, Sid, just think if they make a movie about you. Who's going to play you?
Oh, God.
Dewey comes to a stop, parking the car in front of the police station. He looks to Sid with a brotherly smile.
I see you as a young Meg Ryan myself.
Thanks, Dewey. With my luck, they'd cast Tori Spelling.
Exterior patrol jeep continuous. They pile out of the jeep. Dewey heads for the station.
I'll just be a few minutes. Don't go far.
The girls take off for the local supermarket that sits across the street.
Is Billy gonna be there tonight?
He better not be. I told Steve to keep his mouth shut. I think we can live without everybody's all-American for one night.
They approach the grocery store, small and simple. Sid and Tatum grab a shopping cart from the bin and enter the store, pushing the cart through the two sliding glass doors. The lone checkout lady behind the counter, big and frumpy, looks up from counting money.
You girls gonna have to hurry it up. We're under curfew.
Oh, 2 minutes tops.
They make a beeline for the junk food section just as the automated doors slide shut behind them and a ghost masked figure appears. Out of nowhere, standing just outside, watching quietly through the glass store window. Exterior police station, sheriff's office. Sheriff Burke's face heats up as Deputy Riley marches in hurriedly.
Dewey, where the hell have you been, boy?
Keeping my eye on Sidney.
Listen up, Dewey, because it's bad. Real bad. Aircom just faxed us. The calls were listed to Neil Prescott, Sidney's father. He made the calls with his cellular phone. It's confirmed.
Couldn't his cellular number have been cloned?
There's more. Guess what tomorrow is? The anniversary of his wife's death. It all fits. He's our man.
Have you contacted the Bureau?
They believe he's out of state by now. We'll keep roadblocks and curfew in effect through the night. If he's not picked up by morning, we'll do a house-to-house.
You think he could still be in town?
You'd have to be crazy. Where's Sidney?
She's with my sister. Should I bring her in?
Hold off for now. Just stay close to her.
She'll be with her friends over at Stu Marcus tonight.
Watch her. Don't let on. Just keep your eyes on.
Yes, sir.
Interior supermarket a few minutes later. Sidney and Tatum push a basket through the junk food section. The store is completely empty. The girls gab freely.
Billy's right. Whenever he touches me, I just can't relax.
You've got a few intimacy issues as a result of your mother's untimely death. It's no big deal. You'll thaw her out.
But he's been so patient with me, Tatum. You know, with all the sex stuff. How many guys would put up with a girlfriend who's sexually anorexic?
Look, Billy and his penis don't deserve you.
Sidney grabbed some chips and salsa from the shelf. Down the aisle, through the stall front window, the ghost masked figure still stands, watching their every move. Exterior supermarket. Sid pushes the cart out of the glass door, with Tatum riding it. The ghost masked figure is nowhere to be found.
What do you think about when you're having sex?
With Stu, there's little time to stop and reflect, but sometimes before, to relax and, get in the mood, I think about Grant Goodeve.
Sid pushes the cart and Tatum across the street.
Who?
Grant Goodeve. The oldest brother on 8 is Enough. Remember that show? He was the one who lived off alone. He'd come round every now and then with his guitar and sing, 8 is enough to fill our hearts and lives with love. He had all these brain-dead sisters and that idiot brother from Charles in Charge. God, I was in love with Grant. He was so hot. The show came on every day after school, right during my puberty years. Grant Goodeve was very instrumental in my maturing as a woman.
How does that get you in the mood with Stu?
Well, during foreplay, I sing the theme song to myself. 8 is enough to fill our lives with love. It's a real turn on.
No way.
Yeah, Grant wrote the song himself. I'm convinced the lyrics had a secret meaning. 8 is enough.
Sid pushes the cart up to Dewey's Jeep. Tatum hops off.
What secret meaning? Like a satanical thing?
Oh, just watch the show, Sid. His basket is bigger than the one that you're pushing.
Tatum!
Oh, Sidney, what? A guy can talk about tits till he's dead, but the minute you mention an 8-inch weenie, watch out.
Sidney stops just short of a laugh. Tatum pulls the back Jeep door, loading the groceries in. Behind her, the ghost masked figure appears just out of their sight, behind the Jeep's open back door.
Oh, there's that sense of humour. I knew it still existed. Oh, Sid, let's have some fun tonight.
Yeah.
Sidney moves to the back door and closes it shut when from behind. Dewey stands. Sid jumps, startled.
You girls ready?
Yeah.
Looks like I'm your personal bodyguard tonight, Sid.
Oh no, Dewey, you'll ruin the whole night.
Sorry, police orders. I'll stay out the way, I promise.
Oh shit.
Tatum kicks the shopping cart out of the way blindly. It rolls down the road by itself, gaining speed on a decline, running smack into the ghost masked figure, who stops the cart cold with one hand. Exterior, country road, night. Dewey's Jeep makes its way down a long, winding road. Headlights illuminate the thick woods that line each side. Following behind them at a discreet distance is a huge white news van. Dewey comes to the end of the road. It dead ends at Stu's house, which sits alone in a clearing, big and ominous, with no neighbors in sight. A huge, old home, just right for a night of fun and terror. From the look of things, the party's already started. Music is blaring. A few kids hang on the porch. Interior living room minutes later. A big room with kids sprinkled throughout, smoking, drinking, cutting up. Stereo blasts music while the TV airs around-the-clock killer coverage. Tatum and Sid enter with groceries. Various friends greet them.
The caterer's here.
Girls carry bags through a hallway that opens up onto an enormous kitchen. Stu and some guys are leaning over the sink drinking beer through a funnel.
That's mature.
Where have you guys been? We had to start without you.
Exterior Stu's house. Road. The news van pulls up and parks unobtrusively on the side of the road a few feet down from the front yard. Interior news van. Kenny and Gale move around inside the van. Kenny hovers over a control panel complete with video monitors.
What's the plan?
Prep the compact, we'll hide it in the window and tape all of tonight's festivities.
Kenny picks up a compact video camera the size of his fist. He checks its battery pack.
Well, the control board's glitched. You know we can't carry a live picture.
What's the delay?
About 30 seconds.
As long as it records, I don't give a shit. We're not doing a remote.
Gale slides open the side door and steps out into the darkness. Not seeing the figure that stands behind her. A hand grabs her shoulder. Gale's heart stops as she spins around to find Dewey, smiling, extremely pleased to see her.
Evening.
Deputy, good evening.
What brings you out to these parts?
You never know when or where a story will break.
Not much of a story here, just a bunch of kids cutting loose.
Then what are you doing here?
Keeping an eye on things, checking the place out.
Mind if I join you?
Dewey considers for his whole of 2 seconds.
Not at all.
Gale leans to the van, grabs the camera from Kenny's hand and throws it in a bag. She gives Kenny a wink. Interior kitchen, clothes and a microwave, popcorn, tips inside. Camera widens to reveal Sid, Stu, and Tatum moving about the kitchen preparing a junk food feast. Other teens pop in and out. Randy appears amongst them. He carries an armful of videos.
I thought we'd make it a blockbuster night.
He lets the videos splatter across the kitchen counter. Stu and Tatum dive in.
I thought everything was checked out.
I had him hidden in the foreign section.
Sidney peruses the videos.
The Fog, Terror Train, Prom Night. How come Jamie Lee Curtis is in all of these movies?
Yeah. She's a scream queen.
With that set of lungs, she should be.
Tits. See?
Interior living room, a few minutes later. The party is going strong. 10, maybe 15 people stand, sit, lean. Some crowd around the floor in front of the television. Randy is taking a vote.
How many Evil Deads? How many Hellraisers?
Hands go up, bickering, ad-lib, etc. The doorbell rings. Bing bang! Stu goes for it.
I got it. Tatum, get me a beer. They're in the fridge in the garage.
Oh, what am I? The beer wench?
Hey, guess who's here? It's that chick from Inside Story.
They look up the hallway to see Dewey and Gale standing in the foyer.
Oh, shit. Dewey!
Everyone perks up, eyeing Gale.
What is she doing here?
She's with me. I just wanted to check on things, okay?
The guys in the room are drooling over Gale, including Stu.
Ah, so you did. Now leave and take your media muff with you.
Tatum takes off to the kitchen. Gale has quickly become the focus of the party. All eyes are on her.
Oh, I watch your show regularly.
This must be big news to be on Inside Story.
Huge.
Want to interview us?
We could be like two grief-stricken students, and we'll say really nice things about our good friends who were slaughtered senselessly.
I can cry on cue.
Gale eyes bookshelf above the television.
Maybe later?
Oh, suddenly Gale starts to cough.
Can I trouble you for some water?
How about a beer? Randy, get the lady a beer.
You get it.
Gale slips the camera from her bag, hits the on switch and holds it behind her, waiting for the right moment. Back in the foyer.
Have they found my father?
Afraid not.
Should I be worried?
Not yet.
Interior kitchen. Tatum is alone in the kitchen. She empties popcorn into a bowl, then pulls open the refrigerator, looks quickly, then remembers. She moves through the adjoining laundry room to the interior garage. The kitchen door opens and light floods the darkened garage. Tatum stands in the doorway searching for a light switch. She finds a button and hits it. The electric garage door starts to rise. Wrong switch. She hits it again and it closes. She finds another switch. A small light bulb overhead comes on, barely lighting the large two-car garage, leaving pockets of shadow along the wall. Tatum spots the refrigerator against a far wall and heads for it, not seeing the kitchen door, quietly, slowly closing behind her, sealing her off from the rest of the house. Tatum stumbles to the refrigerator and throws it open. Light casts a glow across her face. Crash! Boom! Tatum jumps, spinning around, just in time to see a cat escape through a large pet door that's built into the garage door. She smiles at her jumpiness. Tatum loads up with as many beers as her hands will carry and heads back to the kitchen. At the kitchen door, she juggles the beer, reaching for the knob. It's locked.
Oh, shit!
She kicks it with her foot several times.
Hey, shitheads!
A moment. No answer.
Oh, shit! Piss!
Tatum leans over and with her elbow hits the garage door buttons. Begins to rise. She moves towards the rising door, beers in hand. Suddenly, the garage door resets, reversing direction, moving down, closing.
What the?
Tatum spins around to see a ghost masked figure silhouetted in the dark next to the kitchen door, his hand on the switch. Tatum at once gasps, taken aback, but then relaxes.
Is that you, Randy? Cute.
The figure stares at her blankly.
Oh, and what movie is this from? I Spit on Your Garage.
Tatum takes a step towards the figure.
I'll lose the mask. If Sidney sees it, she'll totally flip.
The figure shakes his head slowly from side to side.
Oh, you want to play Psycho Killer?
The figure slowly nods.
Can I be the helpless victim?
The figure slowly nods again.
Okay, let's see. No! Please don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface! I want to be in the sequel!
Tatum takes a step to move around the figure, but he steps too, blocking her.
Cut it, Casper. That's a wrap.
Tatum moves again, sidestepping the figure, but he's faster and cuts her off. Tatum juggles the beer against her chest with one hand, and with the other pushes the figure hard, knocking him aside.
Randy, will you stop?
But as the figure intercepts, lunging forward, grabbing her wrist hard, Tatum stumble. Beer cans hit the floor, spewing.
You little shit!
Tatum yanks hard, releasing his hold, when a flash of silver catches her eye. She looks down, glimpsing a long, sharp blade as it darts forward, cutting into her forearm. Tatum pulls back, horrified, as the moment turns, deadly serious. The figure advances on her, knife out, ready. She staggers backwards, holding her bloody arm backing into the refrigerator, screaming.
Who are you?
The figure lashes out with a knife. Tatum dodges it, leaping back against the fridge. The figure advances. Instinctively, she rips the top freezer door open, bashing the figure in the face, sending him backwards, reeling. Tatum bolts to the closed garage door. In a panic, she beats and pulls on it, trying to make it lift. She eyes the figure. He's recovering. She goes for the pet door, dropping to the floor, diving for it, and wedges her upper body through, her head, shoulders, torso, just as the figure pounces, grabbing hold of her feet. Tatum goes crazy, screaming and kicking, trying to get through. Exterior, garage door. Tatum is half in, half out of the pet door. She beats and jerks wildly, unable to see the figure on the other side. True fighter, Tatum kicks hard, making direct contact with the figure, knocking him away. She takes the moment to pull herself through further, but she stops. Stuck. She pulls and tugs, but can't move. She listens, but hears nothing. Where did he go? An agonizing silence. And then the garage door is activated, begins to rise upward, taking Tatum with it. She screams madly.
No! No!
Tatum's arms and legs fly about violently as she tries to free herself from the door, but it moves too fast, carrying her up. She looks above to see where the door rolls back into garage rafters, just as her neck hits the first beam, snapping instantly. Interior foyer, minutes later. It's getting late and some kids leave through the front door, muttering parents and curfew, etc. The door hangs open wide. Sid moves to close it when Billy appears in a classic fake scare.
Billy? Jesus. You scared me.
Stu appears.
Dude, what are you doing here?
I was hoping Sid and I could talk.
Tatum sees you, she'll draw blood.
You guys can go up to my parents' room to talk and whatever.
Subtlety, Stu. Look it up.
It's okay. We need to talk.
Sid grabs his hand and leads him up the staircase. Randy appears from the kitchen just in time to see Sid and Billy disappear. Upstairs.
What's Leatherface doing here?
He came to make up.
There goes my chance with Sid.
Like you had one.
Interior news van. Kenny fidgets at the control board. He hits a couple of buttons, bangs the side of the monitor, and a picture emerges. The living room. The camera is positioned just above the television. On screen, the party is in full swing Several teens sit right in front of the television. Because of the camera's position, they appear to be staring right into the lens. Suddenly, the van's side door slides open and Gale pops in.
Got a picture? Perfect placement. We can see everything.
Gale is ecstatic.
Tell me, Kenny, has a cheesy tabloid journalist ever won a Pulitzer?
Interior bedroom. A large master bedroom with glass doors that lead out onto a balcony. Sid and Billy stare at each other for a long moment. Awkward.
So, I'm sorry. I've been selfish. I've been a selfish shit, and I'm sorry.
No, really. I'm the one who's been selfish and self-absorbed with all of my post-traumatic stress.
No, you lost your mom.
But you're right. Enough is enough. I can't wallow in the grief process forever, and I can't keep lying to myself about who my mum was.
Billy bows his head quietly, knowingly.
I think in some weird, analytical, psychological bullshit way, I'm scared I'm gonna turn out just like her, you know? Like the bad seed or something.
Oh, Sidney.
Every time I get close to you, I see my mum. I know it doesn't make sense.
No, sure it does. It's like Jodie Foster in The Silence of the Lambs, when she kept having flashbacks of like her dead father.
But this is life. This isn't a movie.
Sure it is, Sid. It's all a movie. Life's one big movie, only you can't pick the genre.
Billy moves to her. They embrace. Tenderly.
I want to let go. I do.
Shh. Everything's gonna be okay. I promise.
Sidney takes the initiative, acting an impulse, kissing him long and hard. She breaks away passionately, out of breath.
Why can't I be in a Meg Ryan movie?
Billy nibbles her neck.
Shh. It's okay. It's okay.
Or even a good porno.
What?
She stares at him, her eyes sexually charged.
You heard me.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I think so.
They smile at each other. Interior living room minutes later. The camera sits on the bookshelf lodged between two knickknacks, completely inconspicuous. The camera widens to reveal several teens watching the TV. The horror diehard.
Ooh, look, here it comes. Splat!
The blood's not even the right colour. Why do they do that? It's too red.
Here comes another.
Predictable. You was going to bite it.
How can you watch this shit over and over? I want to see Jamie Lee's breasts. When do we see Jamie Lee's breasts?
Not until Trading Places in '83. Jamie Lee was always the virgin in horror movies. She didn't show her tits until we met, until she went legit.
No way.
Yeah, that's why she always lived. Only virgins can outsmart the killer in the big chase scene at the end. Don't you know the rules?
Stu finishes his beer.
What rules?
Randy hits the pause button on the remote and stands in front of the television explaining.
Dude, there are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie. For instance, 1, you can never have sex. The minute you get a little nookie, you're as good as gone. Sex equals death. 2, never drink or do drugs. The sin factor, it's an extension of number 1. And 3, never, ever, 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 under any circumstances, say, "I'll be right back."
Want another beer?
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Everybody oohs.
There he goes, folks, a dead man. Wave bye-bye.
Interior news van continuous. Gale and Kenny watch the monitor. Party's clearing out some. A rap at the van door. Gale pulls it open to see Deputy Riley standing, his face all smile.
Sheriff just radioed me. I'm going to check out a possible lead. Thought you might like to join me.
What kind of lead?
A car was spotted in the bushes a little ways just up the road.
I'd love to. You sure it's all right?
I'm the deputy of this town.
Can I bring Kenny?
No. I should probably take just you.
Gale steps out of the van, turning back to Kenny. After telling him she'll be back, she slides the van door closed. Exterior road continuous. Gale heads for Dewey's patrol jeep.
Actually, I thought we could walk. It's not that far.
Gale appears skeptical, but she smiles anyway. She's genuinely smitten by this young guy. Interior living room continuous. Scary music fills the room. The party is reduced to the diehards in front of the television.
Whoa, look, here comes the obligatory tit shot.
Beautiful! Finally! Yes! Interior bedroom continuous. Billy and Sidney are going at it. Passionately. He has his head buried in her neck.
8 is enough to fill our lives with love.
It's working. Sidney pushes Billy off her as she pulls her shirt over her head. She fumbles with the clasp of the bra as the camera rushes in on her breasts. Just as Sid's bra straps slide off her shoulders, Billy moves in front of the camera, pulling his jeans off, blocking Sidney from view. Interior living room seconds later. Back in the living room, the horror fest continues when the phone rings. Everyone ignores it. It rings again. Finally, Randy grabs the receiver from the side table.
Hello? Yeah. Holy shit.
Randy, freaked, drops the phone, finds the TV remote and pauses the movie. The others protest. Hey, put it back on, etc.
Hey, listen up. They found Principal Hembry dead. He was gutted and hung from the goalposts on the football field.
This stills the room. Complete silence as the news sinks in. On different faces, a moment of devastation, disbelief. And then...
So what are we waiting for?
Let's get over there before they pry him down.
And in seconds, the room is empty as everyone bolts for the door, hooting and hollering, leaving Randy, near drunk, alone in the living room. He returns to the movie.
Oh, we were just getting to the good part.
Interior news van minutes later. Kenny is barely watching the monitor. He reached boredom some time ago. Finds a bag of Cheetos and chows down when he hears screaming from outside. He peers out the window to see the last of the party kids pile into 2 cars and race off down the road. He chews a Cheeto slowly, his interest piqued. Interior bedroom minutes later. The sex is over, and both Sid and Billy are dressing respectively. That post-sex awkwardness Sid brushes out her hair as her eyes comes to rest on the telephone on the nightstand. It puzzles her as the stark revelation crosses her face. She turns to Billy, who sits on the floor putting on his shoes.
Who did you call?
What?
When you're arrested, you're allowed one phone call. Who did you call?
Oh, I just called my dad.
No. Sheriff Burke called your dad. You saw him.
Yeah. And when I called, no one answered. So.
Uh-huh.
Oh, come on, you don't still think it's me?
No, but if it were you, that would have been a very clever way to throw me off track. Using your one phone call to call me so I wouldn't think it was you.
Billy stands up.
What do I have to do to prove it to you that I am not the killer?
He makes a move towards her when, from behind, in a split instant from the open balcony doors comes the ghost figure. Sidney sees the figure immediately, screaming. Billy tries to calm her, oblivious to the advancing ghost.
Billy, watch out!
Billy barely turns as a long, steely blade rises high in the air. It strikes down with force, hitting his chest as blood sprays in the air on Sidney. As red crimson splatters across her face, as the knife is thrust in and out of Billy, who tries hard to put up a fight. But it's useless. He never had a chance. His body falls to the floor, lifeless. Angle on ghost. As he watches Billy's body come to a still before quietly, calmly turning his attention to Sidney, who stands numb, scared to death. And only when the ghost takes a step forward does Sidney break. She takes off like a rocket, leaping over the bed and out the door. Interior hallway. Sidney tears out the door and down the hall, coated in Billy's blood. Angle on the ghost. As he catches up with her, grabbing hold of her collar, she pulls away from him, her shirt ripping down the back. Her hands find a doorknob and she goes for it, pulling the door open, moving quickly inside, locking it behind her. Interior. Dark space. Total darkness. Sidney's hands scour the wall for a light switch. Doorknob turns. The lock holds as the door is nearly shaken from its hinges. And then nothing. All goes silent. Only Sidney's rapid breathing fills the space around her. Sidney, trembling, shaking, reaches above her, feeling until she finds a string. She pulls it as a light bulb switches on overhead. She's in a small box of a room. The door is on one side, small, narrow staircase on the other. She eyes the doorknob, then the staircase, contemplating. But it's an easy decision. There's no fucking way she's going up to the attic. She unlocks the door and pushes on it. But it won't give. She pushes on it again. It's locked from the other side. Shit! She turns to the staircase. Exterior, dark road, continuous. A long, deserted country road. In the distance, the single flashlight beams ahead. The only light In the black night, Gale and Dewey can be heard.
So is Dewey your real name?
Dwight. Dewey was something I got stuck with a long time ago.
I like it. It's sexy.
Nah. It's just this town's way of not taking me seriously.
What about Gale Weathers? I sound like a meteorologist.
Close of Gale and Dewey, walking closely, side by side, flirtatiously. Gale is surprisingly nervous.
People treat me like the Antichrist of television journalism.
Huh. I don't think you're so bad.
Gale smiles.
Are all the local boys as sweet as you?
Dewey blushes. He starts to say something when headlights appear behind them. They both spin as two cars loaded with kids come racing right at them. Dewey grabs Gale and pushes her off the road, just as the cars speed by, oblivious to them. In the ditch, Gale lands face up with Dewey right on top of her. He steals a glance in her eyes before rolling off her.
You okay?
Something takes Gale's attention.
What's that?
Dewey looks to where Gale points. He finds the flashlight and aims it into the bush. Tail end of a car is just visible.
Looks like a car.
Dewey helps her up and they move to it. He shines the flashlight onto the plates, but it's already obvious to the camera. This is the same car we last saw Sidney's father driving away in.
Shit! It's Neil Prescott's car.
Sidney's father?
Jesus, he's here. What the fuck is he doing here?
Dewey is panicked. He grabs Gale and they race off down the road. Interior living room. Randy continues to watch TV. He's now sloppy drunk, completely involved in the movie on the screen. Scary music swells, filling the room.
No, Jamie. Look behind you. Watch out. Behind you.
And if he followed his own advice, he would see the ghost masked figure that stands directly behind him, knife poised. Interior news van continuous. Penny finished off a soda and crushes the can in his hand. He tosses it to the floor when a movement from the monitor catches his eye. On the monitor is Randy, still on the couch, engrossed in the movie. Directly behind him, the ghost. Kenny does a double take. No fucking way! He watches as the ghost stands still, unmoving. Knife raised.
Oh, Jesus! Fuck!
The ghost takes a silent step forward.
Behind you! Look behind you!
This kid needs help. Kenny bolts out of his seat and goes for the side door. He slides it open and sticks his head out as a long, sharp blade comes at Kenny, fast and furious, slicing into his throat. Kenny falls forward, out the door, as the ghost masked figure is upon him. The camera pans to the monitor, just in time to see the ghost masked figure turn away from Randy, leaving him unharmed, moving instead out the front door on a 30-second walk to the news van. Interior attic. The attic is long and narrow, cluttered with furniture, boxes and the likes. Moonlight filters in through a small raised window in the front wall of the house. Sidney moves through the attic, bumping into this, knocking over that. She passes a dusty mirror, jumping at her own reflection. She cringes at her image, drenched in Billy's blood. She stares long and hard, something about the blood, the redness of it. She moves on, determined. She eyes the raised window above her, a way out. She could only reach it. Exterior, front yard. Gale and Dewey come running up the drive, frantic.
I'll call for backup.
I'll get my camera.
They split up. The camera follows Gale as she rushes to the news van, throwing open the door.
Henny, camera, quick!
The van is empty.
Henny?
Car horn goes off. Gale spins around. It comes from the patrol jeep in the driveway.
Dewey!
She moves across the yard to the jeep. The door hangs open. Dewey is nowhere to be found.
Dewey, where are you?
Knock. Door drag. Comes over Gale. Interior attic continuous. Sidney has stacked object after object, building a ladder to the window. She climbs to the top, holding onto the window frame. She spots Gale almost immediately. She screams out, looking for the window latch. But there's not one. It doesn't open. Sidney starts beating on it, trying to break it. Exterior front door continuous. Gale, hanging tough, approaches the front door, unable to hear Sidney's screams 3 floors up. Gale reaches for the door just as she hears loud, horrible shrieks from just inside. She backs away. Interior living room. An ear-curdling Jamie Lee Curtis scream blasts through the empty living room as the horror movie on TV comes to its horrifying climax. Randy's now gone. Exterior front yard. Gale races across the yard, putting distance between her and the house. She moves back to the van. Interior attic. Sidney has found an old tennis racket. She swings a solid forehand at the window. The window sprays glass. Sidney moves quickly, lifting herself up over broken glass and pulling herself through the window frame. Exterior side of the house. Sidney wastes no time. She looks for Gale, screaming. But Gale is gone. She lowers herself down the ledge, sliding down a sloped portion of the roof onto the master bedroom balcony. Then she eases herself over the railing and lowers herself, letting herself hang as low as she can. Then she lets go, free falling the rest of the way. But in a split instant, the ghost appears, rubbing her wrists in midair. Her body hangs, dangling against the side of the house. The ghost begins to lift her, pulling her back onto the balcony. Sidney jerks, pulls, twists, but the hands have her, hoisting her up. Sidney screams madly, yanking one last time, freeing herself. She drops to the ground, a good 7 feet, landing on her back. Pushing hard, she grabs at a pained leg and brings herself upright. Interior news van. Gale is frantic. She starts the engine up and hits the headlights when she discovers she can't see out the windshield. She rubs at the glass. Sure enough, something is on the windshield outside, blocking her sight. Gale hits the wipers as blood smears across the glass. It drips down from above. Gale screams as a hand reaches in through the open window. She looks up to see Randy staring at her madly.
What's going on?
I'll see it. As Gale hits the gas, plummeting the car forward into a ditch. She hits the brakes, Randy is thrown forward away from the van. Gale reverses, backs up, hits the brakes again, just as Penny's face comes sliding down the outside of the windshield. Eyes wide, face distorted, blood everywhere. Gale hits the gas and yanks the wheel, sending Kenny's corpse flying off the top of the van. Gale spins the van around onto the road, hits the gas madly, gaining speed, just as Sidney appears in the middle of the road, drenched in blood, very much resembling a young sissy space egg. Gale swerves to miss her, but she turns too sharp and the van veers off the road at top speed, flipping over onto its side, sliding off into the thick foliage. Exterior road. Sidney races to where the van lies on its side. Sidney peers through the windshield. Gale's body lies, limp and bloody. Sidney cries out, burning, limping to the driveway. She sees the patrol jeep with its open door. She goes for it. Interior jeep. Sidney hops in, reaches for the ignition. No keys. Just then, Sidney's eyes go to the front porch. She watches as the front door opens and a figure appears in the darkness. It's undetectable. Sidney throws the headlights, illuminating the front side of the house, revealing Dewey standing in the doorway.
Dewey!
Sidney opens the jeep door, moving to him, noticing his body slumped, knees buckled. And then his body falls forward slowly, deliberately, hitting the porch hard. Standing behind him is the ghost. Sidney screams from the bottom of her soul.
No!
Sid jumps back into the jeep, closing the door, locking it. She reaches over and locks the passenger door, and then she waits and watches as the ghost leans over Dewey's still body, fumbling with something. Then the figure stands upright, and in his hands he holds the keys. They jingle in the wind. The ghost toying with her, enjoying this. Sidney, hysterical, locks eyes with the figure as he moves to the door. Sidney leaps on it, holding the lock button down, making it impossible to unlock. Her face is pressed against the glass, inches from the masked figure. She uses every ounce of strength when suddenly the ghost disappears, dropping down below the window out of her view. Sidney moves to the centre of the jeep. trying hard to listen over her own rapid breathing. Every sound amplified. Then she hears it. The soft jingling of keys near the passenger side door. She bounces on the lock, holding it down. Shadow cuts the beam of the headlights unseen by Sidney. The lock turns on the other side. Sidney leaps over and holds it down, securing it. This is beyond nerve-wracking. Sidney is certifiable. Her eyes spot the police radio for the first time. She grabs the mouthpiece and hits the switch.
Help! Please! I'm at Stewmaker's house on Turner Lane. Please, he's gonna kill me!
Exterior front of Jeep. Angle through front windshield. Sidney ranting into the police band. Doesn't see the ghost figure. Open the tailgate door of the Jeep. Slowly. All in behind her. The ghost figure reaches out and grabs hold of Sidney's neck. Sidney, with surprising strength, spins around and attacks the ghost. She falls back against the dash, legs out, kicking wildly at him. Her hand reaches for the door, finds the lock, the door lever. She pulls. The door swings open. Sidney falls to the ground, out the door. Exterior front yard. Sidney on her stomach, squirms away from the Jeep. She brings herself up to her hands and knees, looking behind her to see nothing. The ghost has disappeared. Sidney's eyes roam the yard. But he's nowhere. Completely gone, vanished. Sid crawls to the front porch where Dewey's body lay. Thinking quickly, precisely, she reaches to Dewey's holster and grabs his gun when a voice echoes behind her.
Sidney!
Turns to see Randy racing to her, limping. He appears stone, cold, sober.
Jesus, Sid, we gotta get out of here.
Sidney throws the gun forward.
Stop. Right there.
Don't shoot, it's me.
Don't come any closer.
Listen to me, Sid. I found Tatum. She's dead. She's been killed. I think Stu did it.
Takes a step forward when another voice speaks up.
Don't believe him, Sid.
Sidney spins around to see Stu moving up the walk.
He's lying. He killed Tatum and Billy.
Stu moves closer to Sidney.
Stay away!
He aims the gun in his direction.
His movie nut has snapped, Sid. He's gone psycho.
Don't listen to him. It's him. He's the one.
He has lost it. He doesn't know who to trust. He aims the gun at Stu, then Randy, then Stu.
Come on, Sid. Give me the gun.
No, Sid.
They both move towards her. There's no time. She must act now. Finally.
Fuck you both.
And with that, Sidney steps back into the house and slams the front door shut. Interior living room foyer. Sid locks and bolts the door. From the other side, she can hear Randy screaming.
No, Sid, open up, please. He's gone crazy.
His fists pound against the door. Sidney stumbles in the darkness, rushes to the phone in the living room. Just as she reaches for it, it rings. Scares the life out of her. She screams, yanking it up.
Please, God, help me!
Having fun yet, Sidney?
Sidney falls apart, screaming.
No!
She throws the phone down, disconnecting the call. Sid moves back to the door. Randy's screams are maddening. She eyes the lock, deliberating.
Go away! Leave me alone!
A noise upstairs. Sidney looks up the staircase into the darkness, her face shocked to see Billy emerging from the shadows, stumbling down the stairs. Very much alive.
Oh, God. Billy!
His blood-soaked and dazed. Sidney meets him in the landing, grabbing him, holding him.
I thought you were...
I'm alright. I gotta get help.
Billy goes for the door.
He's out there.
Randy continues pounding on the door, screaming at the top of his lungs.
Please, you gotta let me in! He's gonna kill me!
Billy goes for the door. Sidney blocks him.
No, don't believe him.
It's okay. It's okay. Just give me the gun.
Sidney hands him the gun. Billy turns and unlocks the door, opening it. Randy rushes in, grabbing Billy, pleading.
Help me!
Shh. It's okay. It's okay.
Dude's flipped out. He's gone mad.
Slowly. A small smile creeps across Billy's face.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Randy squints, confused, as Billy aims the gun at Randy and pulls the trigger. The blast throws Randy's body against the wall, or sliding to a heap on the floor. Still.
Anthony Perkins, Psycho.
Billy turns to Sidney, who stands only feet away, face aghast. Fuck, no, this cannot be happening. Billy's eyes are on her, unmoving. He sticks his tongue out and slowly licks the blood dried to his face, tasting it.
Corn syrup, the same stuff they used for pig's blood in Carrie.
Sidney is dumbfounded. Slowly, she takes a step back, moving into the dark confines of the kitchen. Billy lurches forward in a fake-out, baiting her. She takes another step back, petrified. Close on Billy's face. It's no longer familiar to Sidney. There is something inhuman now about his features. His expression is pure evil. Takes another step back, shrinking into the dark kitchen. The camera takes a moment to adjust to the darkness as the outline of a figure appears, standing right behind Sidney. She continues to back up, moving right into the arms of Stu. Sidney spins round, her mouth open in speechless horror.
Stu, please, help me.
Siddiraju stares back at her, eyes wide, lips curled in a subtle smile as he holds a small, compact cellular phone up to his face.
Surprise, Sidney.
His voice sounds affected now. The voice of the killer. Sidney looks back to Billy, then to Stu, then to Billy again. It becomes all too clear. She stands between them, her mind racing, calculating. She bolts into the living room, if for no other reason than to put space between her and them. They stand in the entryway, trapping her in.
Where are you going? It's not over yet. We've got one more surprise. Stu, I believe it's your turn.
Oh, yeah.
Stu disappears into the kitchen.
What's wrong? You look like you've seen a ghost.
Sidney stands, trying hard to hold a calm resolve. A noise comes from the kitchen, a low dragging sound. Stu reappears from the front hall, wrestling with something, someone. Close on Stu. He has a body in tow. He thrusts it forward and it rolls into the living room. Sidney looks down to find her father. Bound and gagged, his eyes wide in fear. Very much alive.
Daddy!
She starts for him.
Close enough.
Stu places the cellular phone in Mr. Prescott's shirt pocket.
Guess I won't be needing this anymore.
Why are you doing this?
It's all part of the game.
It's called Guess How I'm Going to Die.
Fuck you.
We have already played that game. Remember, you lost.
You have to play, Sid. Don't want to disappoint your dad. He's been waiting around all night.
It's an easy game. We ask you a question. If you get it wrong, you die.
And if you get it right, you die.
You're crazy. Both of you.
The official term is psychotic.
You'll never get away with this.
Tell that to Coulton. Tell that to Coulton Weary. You wouldn't believe how easy it was to frame him.
Yeah, we just watched a few movies, took a few notes. It was fun.
And Stu relish their madness, proud of themselves. Sidney looks to her dad, sees the tears in his eyes. She looks back to Billy, unflinching, determined look on her face.
Why did you kill my mother?
Why? Did you hear that, Stu? I think she wants to know a motive. I don't really believe in motives, Sid. I mean, did Norman Bates really have a motive?
Stu plays along, shaking his head.
Nope.
And did they really ever explain why Hannibal Lecter liked to eat people? Don't think so. You see, it's scarier when there is no motive, Sid.
I don't understand.
We did your mom a favour, Sid. The one was a slutbag whore who flashed her shit all over the town like she was Sharon Stone or something.
So we put her out of her misery. I mean, let's face it, your mom was no Sharon Stone.
Stu cracks up over this while Billy turns very serious.
Is that motive enough for you? Or how about this? Did you know your slut of a mother was sleeping with my dad? And she's the reason my mom deserted me.
Sidney silence. Sidney is rigid with shock. His words resonant with truth.
What?
Even Stu is surprised with his seriousness.
Think about it. On the off chance I get caught, a motive like that could divide a jury for years, don't you think? You took my mother, so I took yours. Big sympathy factor. Maternal abandonment causes serious deviant behaviour. It certainly fucked you up. It made you have sex with a psycho.
That's right. And now that you're no longer a virgin, you gotta die. Those are the rules.
Billy sits the gun down on the table near the foyer and then moves to Sidney with a butcher knife in hand.
Pretend this is all just a scary movie, Sid. How do you think it's going to end?
Sidney doesn't respond.
This is the best part, Sid. Billy's got it all figured out. Why do you think we kept your father alive for so long? Why did we save you for last?
You know what time it is, Sid? It's after midnight. It's your mother's anniversary. We killed her exactly 1 year ago today.
Billy turns to Stu with a knife. They eye each other.
Okay, yeah. Ready?
Yeah.
Billy pulls the knife back and brings it forward quickly, slicing into Stu. It stumbles to his knees, wincing in pain.
Jesus!
Sidney screams as blood gushes, real blood, a dark, deep red. Stu inspects the wound to his side, then he smiles.
Good one. My turn.
Takes the knife from Billy.
And don't forget, stay to the side and don't go too deep.
Stu stabs at Billy's belly, puncture him. Billy doubles over.
Jesus! Fuck!
Stop it!
Got the end figured out yet? Time's running out.
Come on, Sid. Think about it. Your father is the chief suspect. We cloned his cellular. The evidence is there.
Billy takes the knife and slashes at Stu's arm. 2 quick cuts. He doubles over.
What if your father snapped? Your mum's anniversary sent him off. He went on a murder spree, killing everyone.
Except for me and Billy. We were left for dead.
And then he killed you. And then shoots himself in the head. It's the perfect ending.
Everyone dies but us. We get to carry on and plan the sequel. Let's face it, these days you gotta have a sequel.
Stu takes the knife and cuts at Billy.
You sick fucks. You've seen one too many movies.
Billy looks at her, bent over, crazed.
Oh, Sid, don't blame the movies. Movies don't create psychos. No, movies just make psychos more creative.
Stu staggers a bit.
Sit, Billy? I can't take any more. I'm feeling woozy.
Get the gun. I'll untie Pops.
Billy moves to Sidney's father.
Where'd you put it?
Stu is searching the foyer for the gun.
It's on the table.
No, it's not.
Billy hobbles over. The gun is gone.
Where the fuck is it?
Right here, asshole.
Billy and Stu look up in unison to see. Gale Weathers, correspondent from Inside Story, standing in the front doorway, gun in hand, her body tattered and bloody, her hair a mess.
I thought you was dead.
She looked dead. Still does.
Gale holds the gun firm in total control.
I've got an ending for you. The reporter left for dead in the news van comes to, stumbles upon you two dipshits, finds the gun, fumbles your plan, and saves the day.
Sidney steps forward.
I like that ending.
Billy lunges at Gale, but she holds steady. Billy and Stu eye each other.
She can't get both of us.
Odds are she'll miss anyway.
In a mad rush, they storm Gale, heading straight at her. She pulls the trigger, but nothing happens. The safety is on. Billy charges forward, grabbing hold of the front door, slamming it shut. Catches Gale in the face, knocking her backwards, out the door. She goes down. Out.
Cool move.
Billy steps out the front door and retrieves the gun from where Gale lays. Then he turns back inside the house to find Sidney gone.
Where'd she go?
Stu looks around, staggering now, bleeding heavily. Sidney has completely disappeared. Only her father, bound and gagged, remains in the living room.
I don't know, Billy, but I'm hurting.
Where the fuck did she go?
Suddenly, the phone rings. Billy and Stu look at each other. Completely surprised, Billy scrambles over to the phone.
Hello?
Are you alone in the house?
Billy looks to Mr. Prescott. The cellular phone is gone.
You bitch! Where the fuck are you?
Not so fast. We're gonna play a little game. It's called Guess Who Just Called the Police and Reported Your Sorry Motherfucking Ass?
Billy looks around the living room.
Find her!
Billy is fuming now, slightly staggering and starting to lose it. He screams at Stu, who has fallen to his knees.
Find her, you dipshit!
Come on, I'm butt off, Billy. You cut too deep.
Billy throws the phone at Stu. He mouths him so Sid can't hear. Talk to her! And Billy takes off for the kitchen. Stu takes the phone.
So, Stu, what's your motive? Billy's got one. The police are on their way. What are you going to tell them?
Peer pressure. I'm way too sensitive.
Billy flies back into the room, grabbing the phone from Stu. He is completely nuts now. Staggering, bleeding, totally insane.
I'm gonna rip you up, bitch, just like a slut whore of a mother!
You gotta find me first, you pansy-ass mama's boy.
Billy starts ripping the room up, overturning furniture in a mad fit of rage when he notices the hall closet. Touché! He smiles deliriously, heading for it, ripping it open as a ghost masked figure strikes from within with an umbrella, the sharp end hitting him in the chest as it fans out. Billy stumbles back, and as the ghost comes at him again, the umbrella lodges in his chest and he goes down. Sidney rips the ghost mask off her head. She looks at Billy, disgusted, throwing the mask on Billy's now still body. A movement behind her sends her reeling around to find Randy slowly sitting up. His body drenched in blood. He's alive, barely. He looks to Sidney through pain.
You know what I hate most about horror movies? The final scene. It just goes on and it gets so stupid.
Randy manages to stand when a figure comes leaping at him. Completely unexpected. It's Stu, barreling into him. They fall back into the living room. Sidney grabs the gun next to Billy and turns to the living room to find Randy and Stu rolling across the floor in a deadlock, fighting, both seriously injured. Sid tries to find aim when a hand grabs hold of Sidney's ankle, toppling her to the floor. Once again, she finds Billy on top of her. In the living room, Randy and Stu pounded each other, beating and clawing. And Sidney, as she fights viciously, attacking with everything she's got. Randy is desperately trying to pry away from Stu. He grabs hold of a television set and tries to pull himself off the floor out of Stu's clutch. His hand finds the top of the TV, the VCR. He yanks on it, gripping it with his hands, bringing it around with force, crashing the VCR into Stu's head. Stu drops. And Sidney, as she digs her hand into Billy's open chest wound. He cries out, bloody murder! Her other hand brings the gun up to his face, but he headbutts it out the front door. Suddenly a flash of silver appears above Sidney. Billy has grasped the butcher's knife. He rises it high above Sidney, ready to strike, when the bullet rips through the foyer, striking Billy, knocking him back into the living room. Sidney looks up to see Gale Weathers holding the gun in a death grip. Smoke rises above the gun's chamber. Sidney sits up as Gale moves to her, helping her. Their eyes meet. A life truth. Into a living room. Billy and Stu lie face up, head to head. Sid and Gale move over them, staring down. Randy joins them.
Sid, you found me out. I'm a virgin, and I'm pretty happy about that right now.
Sidney nudges their bodies. They both stir.
Careful, this is the moment when you think the killer's dead, but then he springs back to life for one last scare.
Sidney grabs the gun from Gale.
Not this time.
She positions her foot in Stu's chest and
This is
aims.
my mum, asshole.
She shoots him in the forehead. A clean and perfect shot. Then she aims the barrel at Billy, whose eyes suddenly open, blinking up at her, blood bubbling from his lips. He's not yet dead. Their eyes lock.
And this Billy Stud Bucket is for having an incredibly small weenie.
She fires another perfect shot. They're both goners. Sidney drops the smoking gun, standing silent over the bodies. Quiet moment when suddenly a figure lunges at them. Both Sid and Gale and Randy scream in an epic final scare proportions as Mr. Prescott leaps forward, still bound and gagged. Sid catches her breath, relaxing.
Oh, Daddy.
She rushes to him, untying him, while Gale moves to the bookcase and retrieves the hidden camera.
I want a close-up.
Randy appears by Sidney's side, helping her untie her father.
This is probably an inappropriate moment, but you think you'd maybe want to go out with me sometime? Like, on a date?
Sidney looks at him. dumbfounded.
Maybe catch a movie?
Long moment as Sidney's face goes from disbelief to resignation to the slight trace of a smile.
Only if it's a nice Meg Ryan movie.
You got it.
He smiles at her, watching as Sidney grabs hold of her father, holding him tight, as Gale Weathers, with camera in hand, gets one hell of an ending to this scary movie. The end.
Yay! Amazing. Wow, I feel like Scream 7 should be in England now. They should do that because that needs to happen. I was having so much fun. I was like smiling at the screen like this crazy person. Thank you to everyone who like came. And thank you for staying the whole time because I know it's like a Friday night and very late. So we very much appreciate you. This is going to be uploaded on YouTube. So if you want to like go back and watch it, we'll have it up and announce it on our Instagram, which if you came late, it's at uob.horror. Yeah, and it was interesting hearing the script because this is an older version and how it was like very different in certain scenes. But yeah, again, so thank you so much to our incredible cast for bringing Scream to life. Huge thank you again for you all for coming. And have a great weekend and stay spooky.
I told you not to hang up on me.